Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello. All right, let's heckin' go. Hello everybody and welcome back to Easy Breezy TV. If I look a little bit different, it's because I'm set up now to do some tablet drawing. I found a workaround so that I can have my mouth tracked and have myself look natural without glitching all over the place, because turns out that putting the camera right on top of my stuff doesn't work real well. Putting that on top of the tablet doesn't track me well, so we found a way around it. We're geniuses. But yes, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna dive in. First off, Raven, Rocker, Z-Axis, welcome everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful one. How's it going today? Breezy is doing, I'm having, you know what, we're still figuring out housey stuff, so it's still been a slog, but we're surviving. We are surviving. We're doing our darndest. So now, as I was, and I hope that I have the aspect ratio right on here. The way it was displaying was looking weird, but I think I got the proportions correct now. But yeah, as you all know, we're working on this little character reference sheet that I have been making for one of my characters. My OCs, all 4 of them, really need proper, they need proper reference sheets. So you know, what we gotta do. Hey Zed, what we gotta do is we gotta do some coloring, because I got the line work done here, but you see her here. If I zoom out a little bit, just pull this down here. Look at her, look how cute she is. She's my cute little OC. She's my, like, oh damn, she youthful, but she caused trouble. I mean, look at this scalp. Actually, I can move the window here a little bit too. Let me that's not locked, is that? It's not. I can move that. I can move any mountain. You know that any mountain is capable of moving. Okay, here we go. But yeah, check it out. I want to have my tools visible, I think. But you know what? Actually, I could do that. I could do that. That works too. Fuck it. I don't care. But yeah, there's her. She's cute, and I love her, and she is wonderful. And we're going to draw her. Or we drew her. We're going to color her today. So you're going to see my coloring method. Let me see here. Did y'all see those illustrations I posted in Discord? I don't know if I have. I'll have to check those out later. I don't have Discord like up right now, just to save memory. But I'll check it out after the stream. Yes. Those are just a few that are submitted. Ooh, yeah, I'll have to check that. Oh no, wait. Were you talking about the ones that were in Not Safe for Work? Yes, I did see those. Those were very pretty. I actually really liked those. So those were nice. Yeah, no, I did see them. But yeah, so let's talk about coloring for a bit. So see, the way that first off, let me introduce this character to you for anyone who doesn't know the details of Hai-Chu. She is an adult female vandal with a childlike demeanor, will likely graduate high school soon and spend the resulting free time vandalizing government buildings and signs with graffiti. She shows signs of age regression and clearly has no interest in growing up. As such, you will often find her with plushies or eating an abundance of colorful sugary candy. Fluffy and sweet and dangerous. That's her, baby. Imagine this cute little doll with a pipe bomb, you know it. Over here, I've removed the arm just to kind of show off the side of the skirt here, make everything hyper visible. I think it's a pretty good reference here, so it should be pretty great. I love that emote, Raven. That's really good. So yeah, I'm going to show y'all how I do this. So we'll just start with like the forward-facing one, of course. I'm going to do this fun little thing that I do called inverting my mask here. So, well, not the mask. You know, the terminology, let's not pretend we know what we're doing. We know what we're doing, but let's not... I don't know the name of what I do. I work wonders, you see. Anyway, I'm gonna have a tolerance of about, like... The tolerance is going to be negotiable. I'll mess with that a bit. But area scaling, I'm going to pull this down to like 3. I don't think I have any like more than 3 lines on here. What I want to do is I'm going to hit, after I've selected the area around what I want to color, just hit Control-Shift-I to invert that. And now we're just going to paint a layer where that is to base everything off of. She's fairly pale in skin, but we're going to take something somewhere around the middle. I'm actually going to try slightly differing the way that I color by kind of actually starting with more of a muted mid-tone. So we'll see how that goes. Or should I just do it how I always do? I might do that. Let's do it the way I know, because then I'll be good at it. Sounds fun. Goodness knows I need to do more studies like that. No, yeah, absolutely. Let me find, if I may. So usually with her, we end up somewhere around the orange and red. Pull that in a little bit. I'm thinking like... I might just have to see it in action to really dial it in. I'm going to say refer to editing layer only. I'm going to create a color layer here. And we're just going to put that in there. Just fill that in. Easily so. In fact, just to make sure I hit the wide swaths here, I've actually missed something here, and I've hit the incorrect area. So, you know what? We should be careful about that. Let me go ahead and fix that minor issue there. We want to deselect that right there. There we go. And I want to actually select this area without it being an issue. So we'll just add it. We'll just put some additive selection right around here, right there you go. All right, no, not quite. We're getting so close. That's just right over there, right in the refrigerator. There you go. Awesome, nice. So yeah, just let's select that instead. The thing that we actually want to select. Perfect. And now we should be good to go. So let me go ahead and fill this in. I think actually, just to make sure I hit every little nook and cranny here, we're going to dial this up and just use the paintbrush. Just get in there. Just color it all in. It's all colored in. The ahage, the rest of the stuff, it's all looking good and nice. We got ourselves a happy little base layer here. And I want to kind of figure out, is this kind of the skin color I want to go with? I think for her... This is probably right where that lands. I think that's probably good right there. Yeah, so we'll do that. We have that base layer. I make the skin the base layer because then you can just add all of the tone and the shading and the lighting and the extra crap on there underneath all of the other stuff. Usually I make that separate skin layer to do all of my things, and that tends to work out well. Let me see. I still need to work on not having a white sketch background. My eyes would thank me. No, Raven, I was the same. Like, real talk, I spent way too long going, I'll get to it later, and many amounts of eye strain after that. I was like, I don't know about that. So... we're not doing that today. But what we are doing, if I may, I'm going to pop in here and we're going to grab the select thing. We don't need everything going nuts like that. It looks like we got everything perfectly encapsulated here. It all looks nice. So we'll just go ahead and start with, we have that skin done. Let's lay down the base colors. Now, there's a few colors that I use for this character, and I'm going to actually pull up her image just to refer to it here, the one that I have. Look at this gal. So we're gonna say, all right, the base color here of the hair is like somewhere around here, just like a basic, like kind of bright pink here. So that's gonna be the pink layer. That bleeds into the design of her outfit and into the shoes, and it's, it's a little of everywhere. Gonna also turn off my doubler there. There we go. So we got that. It's kind of like a 3-color palette, really. It's got a pink and a black and a white. And where I kind of lead those all from that image can all be referred to in not the brightest area, but just like the most kind of base tone area of that there. Let's grab some of this. There's our white. And we're just going to say the black here. I usually, you never want to go like true black because you want to shade it and stuff, but around here, somewhere in that kind of like above that area where it's implied to be black. But hell, if anything, I could make that a little bit lighter too, just like that. So you'll see these are all kind of like mid, not too bright, not too dark, kind of a, I guess if you made like some kind of bougie sort of, one of those, what do you call it, stuff, squid ink ice cream? You could make one of those little, I want to say cosmopolitan. That's not the name of it. What do you call that, like 3-flavor ice cream? I love that stuff, but I'm forgetting what the hell it's called. But anyway, that's what we're working with. We're gonna try to make some layers here, and I want those to clip to this. Neapolitan, thank you. I know all the words, but I forget which one's which. I appreciate you. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna add few things here. These are all going to clip to that, actually. In fact, with that, let me delete that, make this a little easier on myself. So we do that, create 2 more. I want to get in here, let's make this pink. And that'll also involve the hair and what have you. This one's going to be black. And this color area is going to be the white, the implied white, which is mostly an illuminated light blue. And that's honestly how I do a lot of things. You're going to see it's how I do like the whites of the eyes and stuff, so that you can add shine. It'll still really kind of pop. Because actually, here's the thing. The eyes I'll do a little different just because they need to be a little brighter. But you see, I work in light blue here. Traditionally, I will pull that in like here, just like right... Like, this is like all the way to white, right? But like we'll pull that so it's still in the square a bit, if that's visible to y'all. Just right over here. There we go. And so that's going to add a little bit of blue. So it's a little muted, it's not too crazy. And from that, I can just do the eyes. So let's start with that. Let me actually grab my darn glove so I don't get fingy prints all over my beautiful little tablet here. I have the same problem. Okay, good. It's not just me. Like, I feel like I'm dyslexic in word and in writing. I use words that don't mean what I think they do. So anyway, with this here, also, I guess I never really decided if I wanted at like front view to go with like a cute little button nose, or if I wanted to like kind of add the detail here. For now, just so that we can do a little shading practice for the hell of it, let's just say we're gonna go a little bit more in that realm. Let's grab that. And how I found that line also, again, big pro tip. I think this works universally in all of the main like drawing things, but at least in Clip Studio Paint. Control Shift and then tap on what you're trying to access, now you're on that layer. Saves me hours, it really does. I'll just pick a word that's close to what I'm looking for. Same. I believe I called something that was really, I think exciting and really great as cantankerous, and that's not what that meant. But it's funny, because back when I streamed games with my wife on a different channel, she would call me out on it constantly, so that was always fun. It just dawned on me, too, I should put on some music. I don't have any music on. What am I... Let me go ahead. I will close this. How about some happy, exciting Nintendo grooves? How about that? Exciting SNES music, please. I would love. Bad games, great music? That's only 19 minutes. Come on, you can do better than that. What do you got? What do you got? Come on, everybody! Exciting... No. I do want SNES music. I do want that. Understand that I do want you as a fan. We're gonna... Let me get on here. Okay, yeah, you know what? Fine. Here. We will do this one. We'll carry on when we need more music, just so we have something for now. I don't want to get too sidetracked.
That's drunk. I love video game music.
Oh my god, shut up, dude. That's not... I don't want to hear your life story. Anyway, exciting SNES music. If I look on YouTube, it'll... Getting in my own head. What can I say? The process of looking for a home has been frying my brain. I found the video I was looking for. Okay. Awesome. Okay, we can work on this now. So, as I was. We're gonna dive in here, we're gonna get into the meat of it here, right in the face. Actually, more than anything, we can just start laying these down. For pink, as you see in the reference here, I've got that around like the straps at the top here, where it's connected with this little snap here, nice little detail. The little belts that wrap around, and the details of the shoe. So for that, we're just gonna go ahead, start with the hair, get that all in there, and make it look nice and happy. How about y'all's? I would like a trip to Europe. I would like to grab this, and we'll just pop this in here under pink. Make sure we're on the correct layer. Not quite like that. Refer to other layers if we could. There we go. And I think I have the tolerance at a pretty good point. I'm not going to have to refill in too much, but just enough that it gets the idea there. I also realize there's a little bit there I can remove from the base layer too, so I'll probably do that as well. But the other cool thing with this is that, actually, hold on a moment, what we can do is we can actually just kind of color on the outside of here very simply because there's nothing for it to spill over on as long as it's clipped to this layer. So that's going to work really well for us. Let's go ahead and grab that. I would like to grab this. Let me go to that layer. Right in there. That's... preferably the additive selection. There you go. And there as well. Let's take these, get rid of that extra meat. Much as I enjoy meat. That one?
Time to drink up.
My face!
Adorable little cat girl forget to hydrate, drink water.
You know what, it is kind of warm in here, so you make a good point. I will hydrate. Thank you. And hey, Wealthy, how you doing? Yeah, that guy was like when a recipe has someone's life story in the front. It's just like, quick, I need to make 3 bean casserole. What do I do? The bean was invented in 8001, where that's the future. What am I? In 801, the ancient year when the people fearing the dinosaurs and beating off monkeys, fighting off monkeys. Let me phrase that well. Fighting off monkeys that were invading their caves realized they could get protein from a plant. When I was a little child living on the streets of wherever, I remember that my grandmother would make a fine tell me how to make the fuck... Okay, anyway, that's just me. I am also a little warm. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Everyone, like, I would have the AC on, but like, you wouldn't hear me. I would just sound like... And that's not fun. 3 beans in this economy? No, yeah, they were doing better. Even the poor cuts of meat cost less back then, you know? Like, when you think of, like, how many... There's, like, a peasant sort of beef cut that's, like, right off the bone and simmered into something that, like, my mother would make, because I guess it's, like, an old Jewish recipe that, like, was passed down from, like, the Ashkenazic Jews of, like, the past that she grew up with. And, like, over time, that became, like, as I was growing up, that became a more expensive cut of meat, and it's just like, what do you mean? Why does everything that people eat because they can't get anything better become a designer thing? Stop bougifying being poor. Oh, 113. Oh no. Yeah, you know I know what I'm talking about when I say I know what that's like, and I am so sorry. Hopefully I can cool it down with how cool I am. Or not, I don't know. Really not up to me to decide. Or is it? Internally, yes, but factually, I mean, that's for the scholars to decide. I really don't know. What am I doing? Okay, let me go back to my pink layer here. There we go. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and color all this in, get it all nice and pink and lovely, and get all of the little details and the tiny little cracks. Make sure that everything's nice and filled in so we can do all the fancy stuff with it. You know the fancy stuff, we like to do it. You gotta do it to them. So we gotta get in here. That looks good. I like it. Yeah, there. Hello, Sonic. The day I met Sonic was the best day of my life. Said goodbye to my kids and wife. Perfect, we got that. Also, her eyebrows are also, I like to draw eyebrows the color of the character because it's fun, you know. It kind of really adds to that character. The like, no, yeah, this is natural. Her hair just looks like that. That's real. Everyday stuff, you know what I mean? So there's that. Let me see here. For real though, my favorite food to make is a 5-bean dish. Really? What is that? What, 5 beans? Someone's being fancy out here. I do really wish I had purple eyebrows, so I get it. No, yeah, every day. Listen, I had my hair IRL as green and pigtailed as it is right here on me now. This is just kind of a perfectly preserved version of me. But how do I put this? I never dedicated myself to bleaching the eyebrows, especially because, like, that would so quickly grow out. But it's just like, I don't know, it might sting, but maybe one day, I might go in on it. We need at least 200 beans in a dish to have it be filling. That's fair, you do need a lot of it. It's like that riddle with rice where it's like, what is usually, I don't know. I start saying it, I'm like, wait, I don't even know this phrase. Why am I starting to conjure it up? Why would I do this to myself? And then that's gonna come through there. That looks good. Let's get in this little corner here. Nice, tasty, wonderful, exotic. Descriptor words. Okay. That's another thing. I love having the bangs kind of like still kind of show off the line work of the eyes, but just not all of the color. And I will blend the color in a little bit by the time I start doing all the fancy stuff. But there's that. Get that little area here. Funky Kong will drive us to the airport, and we'll hit that. Okay. Get that. That one. I got a little bit more stuff I need to remove that I missed. I missed something! They're gonna judge you, Breezy! Oh no! Nah, y'all wouldn't judge me. I mean, you can judge me, but you wouldn't be mean about it. I mean, you might be mean about it, but you're not gonna... It won't come out of a place of hate. Well, it might come out of a place of hate, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I can't imagine bleaching my eyebrow. Seems like a way to hurt your eye. No, yeah, that seems like a huge hazard, and that's why I haven't tried yet. I do my hair myself with my partner. Awesome! I do my own hair too. When you see me with the red hair, as I'm rocking those images, that's all me. It's one of the things like rigging and art where I went, I can't afford this. I'm gonna have to learn to do it myself. And I did. So that was, you know... That's really kind of the pro tip. If you can't afford things in life, it's usually teacher? It's usually cheaper to teach yourself to do it, as long as you don't mind a ton of headache and a bunch of screwing it up until you get it kind of right. But then once you do, you got a new skill, and then you're a more marketable person, and it's cool. And I love that. Honestly, you know, weirdly, most of the work I've been getting, you know, there's the occasional illustration for, like, character illustrations and, like, OCs and what have you, but oftentimes people are like, hey, can you make me some, like... I sell a lot of emotes, okay? Like, a lot of emotes, a lot of moving emotes, so, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, it's just very cool. You know, I didn't think that would be as big of a thing for me, but the people, they love it. I can respect that. I wish I could do that with haircuts, but that would be... No, yeah, haircuts are the thing that I get would be hard, especially with the back of it. Like, I don't know how... Like, I'll fix up my bangs, you know? I'll hit the fringe, but... there's a point where it's like, I don't know, man. I would not trust me. I think a lot of people who do cut hair, like, don't cut their own hair. And it helps because they probably know a lot of other, you know, stylists, so that kind of makes sense. But yeah. Alright, so we got the pink there. I'm not going to do both things at the same time. We'll probably start with one and do the side view later. But here's that. That's a zipper, so we don't need to color that. But this strap here, as it is, comes through here as well. The belts here, let's hit those suckers. And to be honest, I didn't put any holes in here. I will imply those later. I can add those later without much of an issue myself. It's kind of beyond the point. So here's that, and those looking good. Give me that. Yeah. Yeah. Very nice. And right here. It also dawns on me, because I have this kind of like doubled up, I could just use the doubling thing. Like, I don't need to, but I can for some of this, so why don't I do that? Why not? This will also help as I take a little bit of... Like, that's the thing, the eraser doesn't work when you're using, like, a, you know... how do you say it? The symmetry tool? But if you use a brush with a invisible line, with, like, you know, transparency, that does work. So that's really cool. And I'll show you that right now. Ta-da! Just like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop in here, get rid of some of the edges here, because I didn't very cleanly get rid of that. I'm very precise about all of my stuff. Like, I just really want everything to look perfect, because I am a stickler like that. I am very obsessive. So there's that. I don't know how I forgot to remove this line. We can get rid of that little friend too. The little things you notice as you work at things. There we go. Okay. Perfect. Alright, so let me get rid of that one again a little bit. Just perfect. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so there's the pink there. We'll get the other belts as well. I do cut my own hair, actually, and I cut my partner's, but I'm not a hairstylist. No, you are brave, is what you are. I could never. I'm so scared. I've had too many traumatic haircuts as a kid that I imagine doing it myself and screwing it up. It's like bleaching it, it's like, if it looks a little weird, I'll color it, you know, all black later, and who cares, but... I don't know, I'd be so scared. That seems so intense. What if I do... Right, yeah, so we're going to... That's just the pink there, so I don't need to color that part in yet. I think... Right, the shoes. So the shoes here, usually the tongue and the strap there, are all going to be in that pink zone. Let me grab that color again in the pink here. Put it in the pink, haha, sex joke. And we'll just grab this area here. Let's do area scaling, that's too much. 4. Yeah. I'll turn that tolerance up a bit too. Yeah. So yeah, perfect. And she got them colorful soles that are gonna get all dirty if you walk around in them, so you never wear them, and you say you'll don your fancy shoes at some point because your demonias are your life, but you never really find the time, and those and your giant nucleus skirt just sit in your closet and you never actually don it. Not that I'm speaking from example or anything, I'm just saying. And you color this in, and you got the pink there. It looks nice. It looks good. I was gonna say, I'm in the pink zone. Hell yeah. Anyway. My mom used to shave my head every month when I was a kid. Oh no! No, yeah, I remember, like, God, I did everything to hide my appearance just because I was... Yeah, I wasn't a good-looking kid. You know, there were many reasons that I had self-image issues, and if I got a bad, like, overly cut haircut that was too messy, I was like, oh man, I was distraught. I was like, I'm just trying to not be noticeable. What are you doing? So there's our pink. We got that. Looks good. Moving on to the black layer here. Let's take that, and we're gonna fill in... Let me make sure I have this right here. Right, yeah, so the shoulders and the sleeves, the top part of the sleeves anyway, are not, but we have the main base of the body, the clip in the middle, and the sleeve area of the sleeves there before the cuffs. So we just go ahead and fill that in. I want to give that a little more I wonder why the tolerance isn't quite working as I'd like it to be. If I'm not like... Okay, there we go. Just hit it twice, why not? As long as I'm not bleeding into the line work, I don't mind so much. There's that, there's this. Let's color that part. Getting all those happy little places. This is where I want to turn off the symmetry tool, because we're starting to get into things that are not symmetrical here. Yeah, I'm just getting there. Just getting the little corners. Just there we go. Very nice. You bring that home to your mama, she's like, you found yourself a good one, kiddo. Alrighty. So there's that. I should get behind there as well. Yes. Did I miss something there? No, I got that. Okay, alright. So this area here is going to be a little bit brighter. I believe this one I keep kind of in that darker zone, however. We'll fill this. That's starting to affect the line work. I don't want to do that. Getting here. And we'll just pop this in here too. That looks nice. Okay. So then there, the rest of this part of that skirt. Get rid of that. Get out of here. And we'll just fill in the line here, right where the seam of that skirt is, just like so. Make that seam seamless. Let me, hold on a minute. Okay. So that's filled in, that looks nice, everyone's happy. Not everyone isn't happy, that's never been true, but I'm happy with it, and that's what matters when it comes to this kind of thing. And I wish that you all could be happy too, as much as possible. Whenever you can find joy, for the love of God, eke that shit out. I've been dealing with my own stress by getting me some nice edibles that have been great for not only sleep but getting my mind off of the horrid reality that is hunting to rent a house. And it's been helping. It's been helping me not fixate on things. I'm more, you know, relaxed. If I could pull that down a little, make the tolerance a little... Maybe I need more. Yeah, that looks right. Okay. So there's that. We got that little rubber area there kind of covering that pink. I'm gonna remove a little of the pink here that's just kind of spilling out, however, just right there. There we go. Sometimes that gets around it, especially if you're using that little bit of spillover just to fill in your lines. I want to be happier too. I owe it to myself and those that I'm close to. Same. More than anything, I do it for the people around me to not get sick of me. That's just kind of the long and short of it. But if you need a reason to start with, that's always a good one. Seems like I can't make out the seam anymore. We'll mess with it. It'll look good. And so right, so we got the socks here, these little nets. We'll also have that. Okay. Yeah, no, I am accidentally dipping into the territory of adding to the line work. Let me pull the tolerance down a bit. Okay, and let's just do that. Color that sucker in, just around the edges. Nice and easy. We'll get these base colors down before we can do all the fancy stuff. And just kind of get a feeling for how this is gonna look. But yeah, no, and that's the other thing too. I'm trying to I don't want to be like, you'd look better if you'd smile, but I'm trying to smile more on my own for my own sake, because I know that's a thing. Laugh more, smile more. If you can make yourself do that, it lends itself to feeling happier, I've heard. And in practice, I have seen it happen. Obviously, it won't get rid of being horridly distraught, but where it can help, it makes a small difference. I think I have found it to be useful. We're not on the correct layer. Find the white. White people having fun. Get that in there. Okay. There we are. But yeah, just gonna pop in here, get that. If I could drag this a little bit wider here. There we go. Nice and good. Also here, and that spillover, I need to remove that. What the hell? Oh, there we go. Okay, there it is. Just get rid of the spill over there. Looks good. There we go. Yeah, that was bugging me. The fill can, not perfect. Just kind of gives you a gist. Let's pop in here, give me that. Yeah, we'll just pop in here, get that little sleeve. We'll shade that later, but we have the base color down. We get that in here as well, just nice and easy. I'm also going to use this for the metal color, because I'm going to change it a little bit later, but for now, consider that part of the white. We'll throw that here, just so we have something to base it on. Down here, little buckles and stuff down here as well. Let's hit those. I want to get inside there. I want to get inside there. Sorry. Everything's a sex joke in my head. I can't fix it. Oh, I forgot to fill in some belt in these too. I gotta hit those. Well, we will. I'm not being judged by any kind of, you know, judging scrutiny. I don't know what I'm going for here. I'm not looking to win a medal here. I'm just doing some coloring and sharing the experience with y'all and sharing what info I know. That's at the end of the day, it's to hang out with y'all. I'm not going to, you know, win any big artsy prizes or whatever. I don't know what you call it. The Michelangelo little golden statue. Know about that. This past year I've been trying to be a little more positive, and I think it helps. Plus I've gotten slightly better at cheering people up just slightly. Let's go! Hell yeah! I'm happy to hear that. Any little thing you can do for yourself. Life is short. You know, put some happiness in there wherever you can. I understand the times when you can't, but if you can, totally do. Get that in there, get that in there. Awesome! Okay, so we got that, we got the belts, we got those, and the shoes. Those all look great, and let me just fill in that part that we were missing right around here. I also think I'm seeing that I might have done the... I might have done the black portion here on the wrong layer. Me big smarty. Okay, well, let's go ahead and erase that for now then, and I will fix it. Oh. Okay. There we go. Take that a little bit smaller. A little bigger. There we go. Okay. Easy peasy. Let's put that on the correct layer. Grab that. Yes. Yes! 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 There we go. There's our girl. Nice. Socks. So how about that Uma Musume, huh? People really loving that Uma Musume. Can I share an unpopular opinion? And listen, this is not to judge you or anything you guys enjoy. I know you're all loving it. I'm on board for anime, right? I understand there's some objectification and some weird pervy stuff. I get it. It's not a big deal. I don't mind it. For the first time ever, I look at this people playing Pretty Derby, and I'm just like, I feel too objectified as a woman by this. I'm never that person, but like something about, okay, so how do I explain this? Let me explain. So say that, like, let's say by chance you're playing Cinderella Girls or any of the Idol Master games. You're an idol. You have chosen to be an idol. And you have, of course, a manager, you know, and you train, you know, you've got like a physical trainer. That's part of the job, sure. Now, making that sort of game, your character is a horse. Well, the problem is now you're property. Now you are... It's like, they're horse girls, but they're girls. They're not like hybrids, and they're not like, you know, intended to be horses. They're horse girls. They're humanoids with horse mimi. That's it. That's the only thing. So you're taking these like actual like girls and being like, yeah, I own you. Yeah, race. Yeah, don't lose. Make me some money. Yeah, that's right. Take the carrot. Oh yeah, I can't wait to watch these women that I own in their schoolgirl outfits run around and get sweaty. And it's just like, I can't get around it, man. I can't. It's just too much. It's just, like, I was trying, because the reason I'm talking this out is, like, I was trying to figure out why it was bugging me so much. And I don't know, it's weird. It's a weird fucking dynamic. Hey, Zell, how you doing? I was just bitching about Uma Musume. How you doing? We're coloring in my beautiful gal here. Oh yeah, take the carrot. Horse Girl's got me philosophical. No, yeah, we're waxing poetic about the, what's the word here? The logistics and the, I guess the, ow, my face! Ow, shit, fuck, goddamn, ow! God! What was that about? What just happened? Ah. What? Something was going to pop off, but it hasn't yet. Ow. Plus the Horse Girl Society raises a lot of questions. It does. That's the thing. Like, what is the difference between... they're just girls. Oh, hey. You got subbed, you dumb cute bitch. Thank you, Sass. Thank you, thank you. I hope you're well. What's to say about society? You know, the Horse Girls are like... I don't know, it's just, I can't get past it, man. I can't. It's just like this, you're owning them and you're telling them what to do and you're making them race. And it's just like, but they're humans. They're girls. They're not horse enough. Give me, like, at least make them look like the characters from Worry Free. You know, working in, like, I Think You Should Leave. Like, dedicate yourself to the furry aspect. Yeah, exactly. Then you turn them into glue for not being good enough. That's weird. It's a weird dynamic. But I digress. Again, this is just my personal hang-up. It was me figuring out what bugged me, and I don't care if you play it and love it, that's fine. It's perfectly okay. You gotta admit, it's interesting. It's just kind of weird in a way that I don't think a lot of things like it have been weird yet. And it took me a minute to, like, work through what it was about it that bugged me so much. But I think that's it. I think it is just the kind of... I don't see the consent in it. If you're going to make them girls, they need to... I don't know. It's weird. It's just kind of weird. For what it's worth, they choose to go to school for it rather than direct ownership, but still, I get it. It's a gray area. Yeah. Yeah. Bria's on Dan Reichert's side. Listen, a broken clock is right twice a day. Unless it's a digital clock that's stuck on AM or PM, then it's only once. But it can happen. It can happen. Japan is weird, yes. And see, that's usually what I give it. Especially because, like, listen, I love kawaii culture. I do. I love that, like, post-World War II, the concept of macho-ness is laughed at. Because it's like, dude, shut up. Fuck you. Like, let's embrace happy and cute things. And... that's so great that people of every gender can just love cute, fucking adorable shit, and I want that to be the case. I want to have cat donuts here. I want to have all of the great shit that they have and the culture that appreciates all these things. But, like, as I look at that, I'm just like, why? What is it about it? What is it about this one thing? The only thing that got a friend riled up is the one scene with the sideways key. I don't... what? That's why I never see Uma dads. I wondered about that. I don't know. Not my expertise, but again, y'all have fun with your horsies. I'm not gonna give you any shit about it. I absorb plenty of things from Japan that raise a few eyebrows, and that's... we all have our vices. I'm not judging you, I'm just having a crisis. So we got that. We have... yeah, no, we think we got everything here. At this point, I'm just going to hit the zippers with kind of a... oh, no, we did that. No, hold on a minute. Go to black here. Let me fill this one in. Yes. Hell yeah, Contra 3. Let's go. This runs really well on my handheld Anbernic. I love playing this. Game too hard, and it's really fun. I want to make the metal for these a little in the grayer zone. Not by like a ton, but like just enough. So let's go to where that color palette is for white. I'm gonna make that the white too. Just use it for that, and I gotta fill in a little black there. But you get that there. You're gonna love my shading method if you haven't seen it. It's a real hoot. I guess more my coloring, my detailed how to do stuff method. It's very It's very crafty, and it really does work. Would you feel better about the horse girls if real horses were their jockeys? You know what? I think I would be all over that. That's weird enough to be funny. Like, that would be fine. If they're being trained by horses, that's like, alright, sure. But I don't know. I can't, like, I don't know. Like, women in a harem are allowed to leave, you know? They're not, like, they're fully women. They're, you know, there is consent, hopefully, and they're human beings that have a say in things. I just don't like that, you know, Seabiscuit, the schoolgirl, is, like, less than human somehow and is owned and trained for, like, I don't know. They're based on real horses. Like, you watched the horse movie. You sure made me did. You sure made us do. For anyone who doesn't know, we have a little, if you want to link it, Sass, I don't have a command for it yet, but I'm with Sasquatchulus there, and my dear wife, Jay, and Evie, on a little podcast where we watch movies. 4 queer girls watching movies. It's called Put It on the List. It's a great little thing, and one week Sass made us watch that, and I was not happy. Here's the thing, it doesn't even get into that stuff, the movie. The movie, to me, was just unfortunately kind of boring, because it is a movie about a gacha game. To sell a gacha game, you can only go so far with that. Like, you can only really do so much. Until it just becomes what that's going to be, inherently. And, I don't know, I was so horridly bored. But yeah, that's, again, a matter of taste. It wasn't for me. It wasn't for me, okay? Okay. We've got... Okay, yeah, just a little more here. Then I can start getting into all the fancy crap. You're saying, Breezy, we came here for the fancy crap. Ahoy there, me bucko! I want to see some fancy crap! But Mr. Krabs, I just learned how to draw yesterday. Yesterday? God damn it, SpongeBob, you're already better than me. I'm better at everything than you fucking cuck. What? Mr. Krabs? You're gonna have to put up with it, bucko. He's Employee of the Month. Anyway, what was I talking about? I'm sorry, I go off on things. Funny thing is, you can visit some of the horses in real life. They have a lot of fans. My favorite, though. 4 trans girls yapping about art. Who ever heard of that? It's rare. It's a new thing. We invented it, and it's purely us. Thank you. Let me... Killer Instinct! Let's go! Okay. And right, we gotta get some white here on the cuffs and on the shoe. On that white, baby. Get on that white stuff. God dang it, Bobby, get off the white stuff. That's expensive. But Dad, no one can do my voice. I don't care. Now you get off that cocaine this instant. Do you know how hard it is to quit cocaine? 'Cause, unfortunately I do. It was a long weekend in Colombia, I tell you what. God dang it. Hit that. Here's another thing. Why are trans women, myself included, obviously, so good at doing Hank Hill voice? Why? I don't know. But we tend to be the best at it. Whoa! Harley Davidson. There we go. Listen to the famous most popular episode and put it on the list. Where one girl must be there to feed the horses hay and 3 other women burn the horses. Dad, my cocaine and cocaine accessories. That's a straw, Bobby. God dang it, didn't I teach you anything? If you're gonna huff something, at least huff propane. It's a clean burning snort. Don't listen, guys, don't huff fumes. That is a horrible drug that will do very little and will actually melt your brain. Don't ever... I encourage my viewers to be experimental in life. If there's 2 things I demand you never try, it's spice or huffing things. That is a stupid idea, and I want to come out and say that, like, openly. Don't do those things. Or, like, meth or anything, you know. But do salvia, sure. Weed, fine. Those are fine. You know, I don't care about those, but, like, don't destroy your body. You don't need to. Don't do that. There are better ways to have a good time. See, Zed, I talk about this like every now and again when I go off on life story stuff. I was in a very unfortunate situation. God, I'm like 34 now. When I was like 20, I knew someone who he was trying to stop smoking weed because he still lived with his folks, and he was like, I don't want to. They're giving me shit. They're trying to send me to some weird rehab in Texas. I don't want to keep, getting in trouble. So screw it. They said they don't mind if in their house I'm smoking natural blends of natural herbs. And there was this little place, actually in Arizona, funny fact, called the Happy Horny Herbal Shop that prides itself on having no chemicals. They fucked that one up, and they sold something for a while called Crunky Monkey that I thought, oh, cute, a smoking blend. Let me try it out. It's got a fun name, strawberry flavored. Sure. So natural smoking blends don't do what that did. But the chemical, which I know by name, does. And we accidentally got hooked on it, and he started figuring out how to get these chemicals and how to farm it himself, leading me to basically being completely comatose, feeling like I was having a heart attack for about the half a year of my life, the second half of being 20. And it was fucking horrifying. 34, just a baby. Yeah, I'm a youngin'. I do stimulants, my ADHD meds. Hell yeah. But yeah, I mean, for me, no, yeah, it's terrible. I was also kind of made an errand person to run food things for them because I was basically zombified and could only do what I was told because I was just so fucking fried. And I just felt nauseous and like I was gonna die all the time. And it was a terrifying thing that he would make massive sacks of this shit. It's terrifying how cheap and easy it was to make tons of it, and without getting off it and realizing how fucking stupid you are. Until that time in my life, I was like, man, getting hooked on something, that's stupid. I would never get addicted to something. That was the scariest fucking time in my life. Ugh. No, yeah, and thank you. Yeah, honestly, it took 1 year of eating vegan and hydrating constantly and fixing everything about my life. Of just getting my brain back, because I'm surprised my brain came back too. It was fucking scary. Yeah, if this is what I tell people, if you find yourself in a scenario where you're like, man, is my life ever gonna get any better? Do I have a future? Is anything what do I make of myself? I'm a thriving artist in the Portland, Oregon area who went through all of that shit. You think I'm cool and I'm hot and I'm great and I got a vagina and I'm classy and I'm fancy? Yeah, you know what? Wasn't like that, let me do the math here, 14 years ago. So, you never know where life's gonna go, okay? You never know. There's always room for improvement. Exactly, yeah, you learn from it, and you go let me tell you, you can always improve. There's time to change. I was an absolute wasteoid. And it still traumatizes me to think about, but I use it as a method of going, hey, let me make this a teachable lesson. Don't do horrible drugs. Also, by the way, they finally started testing those. I found out from my sister. She read about it, and it's mostly rat poison. Yeah. Seriously, it's fucked up. That's why I am straight edge all my life, as in recreational medicinal is good and fine. Oh yeah, not a drop of alcohol neither. Alcohol, I have a weird... here's the fucked up thing. When I was 21, I replaced, drugs with alcohol, because I was like, oh, a more commonly accepted thing that's bad for you, but everyone does this, so it's fine. And I definitely overdid that too. But, I started... Once I came out, when I was 24, and I was like, okay, I realize I'm a woman now, I gotta do something about this. I immediately dove on doing everything I could to start that up. And the weird thing about realizing I was a woman is I was so sad and so depressed and so, self-unalivey when I was before then, that I never feared death. And for the first time ever I did. because I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna die one day. I took that for granted as like a positive thing when I was younger, but once I was like, oh wait, I actually am happy about being alive now. So I had to come to terms with it at 24. Like, oh shit, I'm gonna die one day, oh no. You know what I mean? So it's just like that. So I'm just like, all right, you know, that was fun to go through, but like I don't know, it changed my point of view, and I started eating really healthy and like being really together, and just, you know, at first it was a matter of trying to undo what I was doing with the other stuff, like outside a little bit of extra drinking. I was trying to get fit, I was taking care of some things, you know, trying to be mindful of certain things that are good for your body. But I fully went in on it once I realized I wanted to live, and look at me now. You know, estrogen de-aged me pretty hard. It's pretty great. For me, it was the opposite. Not being me made me afraid of dying a lot. Oh, jeez. So relatable. It was much easier to do extreme sports and dangerous shit before. No, yeah, you think you're gonna get me on a fucking, like, you think you're gonna get me on a roller coaster now? Hell no. Hell no. Like, everything I did was like, I don't value my life. I can do anything. Like, you're so brave. I'm like, yeah, I'm brave. Yeah, that's a word for it. Give me an excuse. The desire to live is a strong motivator. That it is. Very much so. Sass, listen. Maybe if you're going to like something in like a big fancy Disney, whatever you go to with like, you know, checking and making sure it's okay. I'm talking about things that run you upside down in like a carnival, okay? Like a town carnival flipping and spinning you upside down and shit. Like, those are the things that I'm like, I'm not doing that now. I'm not doing the spinning one way while a giant crane spins you the other way up like 80 feet in the air thing anymore. Because I can't do that. That's a town carny. Yeah, exactly. But that didn't stop me, you see. So, like, I don't know. I also heard, was that you told me that someone I know, like, had a sister who got, like, a bolt flew out of, like, even just a gravitron into their eye? That's, like, the safest fucking ride, is just, like, the centripetal force machine. My sister got metal in her eye. That was it. Wouldn't trust that. No, yeah. And like, again, that's, like, the safest fucking ride, because it's a top. Like, it's pretty structurally sound. But, yeah, that sounds like not fun. But, no, yeah, I mean, listen, but, like, old me, I could have seen me just becoming a carny and, like, being one of those people that dances and flips and, like, spins around, like, standing on the ride while people are riding it. Like, as the operator. Might have done that. Not now. Jumping out of a plane. Something I'm not gonna do now. I was always scared of roller coasters as a kid, like totally terrified. Then I started going on them and I realized I actually enjoyed being scared. You know what? Same. Before, I spent a long time being afraid of it, but like there was, well, I mean, I guess you're Phoenician. Castles and Coasters. They got that big like two loop coaster. As a kid, I kept almost going on that, and I'm like, no, I'm just gonna go play more DDR. I don't want to fucking die. But just the concept of it horrified me. And then once you go through it the first time, you're just like, oh, sure, easy. Great. Like, I did go back and play more DDR, though. I'm happy to say we have some quarter-operated arcades here that have a big DDR Extreme machine, so I missed that, because I don't think they have that there anymore, but it was... because I got some friends who like to hit that up, too. But yeah, it's... I love me some DDR. Very, very fun. If you're ever in town, challenge me. I will outdo you all. I am good at stuff. Right, so we're doing the white. Sorry, I got so sidetracked. Let's get back in here. Let's white these shoes. White what was wrong. There we go. Yeah, okay. So now we're gonna get a little bit into how I do the fancy coloring and junk. First off, the eyes here can also operate off the black layer here. So let's start working on those details. I love kind of starting with those because they're fun. If we fill this in here, and again, I'll just do one stroke here, do the rest with our pen. Get in these little details here. Nice and fancy. Fancy schmancy. Really the opposite. Much afraid of being upside down. Could never do a headstanding and rolling in gym class. You know, it's funny. I remember as a kid I used to do a whole lot of like somersaults, and now I think of what that would do to my back, and I'm like, I don't know how I did that. Kids are indestructible, man. We were just made out of bricks. This is a thing that, like, Northern Lion talks about that I remember, too, is, like, especially because I grew up in a fucking desert, but it's a universal thing. Like, when we talk about, like, sending kids to school with water now, it's like, yeah, that's a good idea, but do you remember how we wouldn't drink water for, like, 7 hours a fucking day? And would get, like, one chance right after recess and eating to, like, drink a little bit of water, and they'd be like, save some for the fishes, you've had 2 seconds, get out of the way, because we're trying to move a line. How did we not die? How did we get, how? What do you mean? Why did they do that? Like, in retrospect, that was horrible. Sounds like an America Zell, it is absolutely an America problem. Like, you don't need water, it'll distract you. You kids are a bunch of hooligans. Just don't, you don't need liquid to live. Now do your math problems. And I was like, all right, but if I die, I'm gonna have some stern words for you in hell. Because I know I'm going to. I'll see you there. Hell will be my reunion tour. I will see you all there. Only there could I have little enough shame to start rapping again. Can I grab this? I think it was during, like, one of the big riots for, like, you know... One of the big riots for, like, you know, people of color, where I was just like, yeah, I owe it to everyone to stop, like, I stopped rapping, but I mean, I owed it to everyone to, like, delete all of my rap music. I was just like, I am a white bitch. Like, this doesn't need to be here. I am socially conscious, and I'm just going to make the decision. To be fair, I do kind of miss, like, I should have kept it for myself just as, like, a token in retrospect of, like, a fun little thing to look back on and laugh at, but, you know. The lyricism was fun. It was just a, can I do this? Hey, I can. That's neat. American. Remember that thing we had to do as kids in school that was a bit weird? Not American. Isn't that against the Geneva Convention? Well, yes, but not there it isn't. Or if it is, they just don't listen because they're, you know... America doesn't like criminals unless the people in charge are here are the criminals. Anyone else, they're like, no, you can't do that. It's very, very selective. I don't know. I like to believe in a world, and I know this is an unpopular opinion, where all manners of infringing on the Geneva Convention are looked down upon. But you know, I'm crazy. The crime is okay. No, yeah, I say legality reaches as far as what your elected officials make it out to be. If they are, you know, doing it too, then it's like, there, you gotta set that example, otherwise the law doesn't matter. The one place I draw away from that, the one place where I'm like, you know what, don't break the law? Fucking driving. Listen, man, I get so nearly knocked out by a car every single morning walking the dog in a bright outfit, and someone just blows through a stop sign in front of the library, and it's like, no one's looking for anyone, right? And cars are smashing into each other too. It's not just pedestrians, it is a separate issue. But like, just so many problems and like so many like car accidents and shit, and no one cares. They will swerve around you instead of stop at the stop sign. They'll swerve into the wrong lane of traffic to go around you because they just do not care. So I've started carrying my hydro flask like a brick, like I'm gonna throw it in their windshield, and they started slowing down. Funny that. But you know, that is just ultimately placating them, and it's not really a solution to it. But that's the thing. When you break the law, like if you steal money from, you know, rich people, good. I don't care. That's good for you. Usually any kind of digital theft is sticking it to a major corporation. I don't care. Also, shrinkage makes up for very little loss of anything, is the actual truth of it. But driving affects everyone, okay? That's like, if you're driving like an idiot, you can kill somebody. They don't get to decide whether or not that's unsafe or your safety, you know, but when that becomes their safety, that's not just about you. So like if you're going to drive on the road and you're going to be running a motor vehicle that is a couple of tons heavy at least at like 80 miles an hour, maybe have some consideration, huh? Maybe stop at least at the stop sign, huh? That's just, that's where I'm like, listen, when it becomes other people's problem, that's the thing. If I recall correctly, Switzerland and the US of Europe. A lot of guns, labor rights, and what is that? Public health care, what is that? But, freedom. Oh, my freedom! Shit like that. I didn't know that. I will not visit there then. Up yours, Switzerland. So right, the eyes. We're talking about the eyes. So I want to go ahead and grab that color I was talking about before, that light blue right in the corner here. And we'll fill in the whites of the eyes here. Get those little fine details right around there. Right in there. There we go. And what we do now, gonna use the mirror tool here real quick. Just give it a little bulging outward there. Nice little rounding. Looks good. Breezy, see my message. Oh, hold on. I'm a little behind. My apologies. Just a moment. What have you sent me, Sass? What's this here? I showed you this. But you know what? We're gonna listen to it now. Okay. Now, what are we talking about? I thought different as well until a friend told me things from her Swiss boyfriend and I got pretty horrified and delusioned over a few minutes. Oh god, yeah, that sounds terrifying. Switzerland's labor laws are much better than the US. I have a friend from there. Okay, so they suck, but they're not nearly as bad as us. That still sounds about par for the course. Oh, America, you suck. Okay, this is all... okay, alright. Alright. Anyway, this video's almost out of itself. Give me, let me... Sonic music. Just big mix of Sonic music. Sure. Actually, no, wait. This, if we... we can't do that. Because, like, here's the thing. If I play Sonic music, the new stuff is in there, and then it's going to get me copyright struck and muted. So let me find, like... frick. Let me find just, like... let's do Genesis music. There's a big, long one of those, and I swear I will actually focus on art. There we go. Awesome. They actually pay people to attend school to learn for jobs? Whoa, wait! Dog, like, listen, I don't think that, like... I imagine a world where Portland secedes from the USA. It's very, very different. Much of it's walkable, small businesses are fought for to keep living through even times of great chaos. You know, there's human rights. I have state insurance, okay? I want you to understand something if you're from a place that doesn't... if you're from a place that has at least decent insurance. The state I came from, at least, which is apparently most of them, was like, if you have a really good job for like 20 years, you might get a little bit of money knocked off of an immense fucking bill from like you went in because you were sick. I want you to understand, I went from having no insurance in that situation to, oh, you need a vagina and a colonoscopy and you need to have like all of your pills and you need therapists and you need like this and that and you need all of your estrogen. Yeah, that's just fucking free now. Dog, what? What do you mean? That's as close as you get to UBI. Like, this doesn't feel like America. Positive. It's kind of funny. But it's like, no, yeah, once you are in a situation where you're like, oh, this is designed to be for the good of people. Why is this not normal? Like, it should be. It really should. My brain can't comprehend walkable. I have to commute for about an hour to get to or from work, and I'm racing out of work to catch my bus and or stranded out there for half an hour. Ugh. Yeah, that's the thing. We're partially walkable, but that is to say it doesn't take real long to hop on 1 or 2 buses and get where you're going. Anywhere you're trying to go is usually 20 to 30 minutes away maximum. And if you want to go any further than that, like, I don't know, just rent a car or call an Uber, you know. There's always a way, but most of what I do doesn't require anything further than walking. I walk to the gym. I walk to the store. I'm like, fuck it, you know? It's just easier. Sorry, I promised I would pay attention to what I was doing here, so we'll dive back into pink here. Show me the eyes here. So what we do with the eyes here, if I want to stick to that, I think we're using that sort of base color. I want to start, though, with that dark end here, right there. That little kind of S shape, that almost yin-yang sort of quality that I put in the eyes here, where we're going to select the iris, we're going to select that iris. And we're just gonna give that a little swoop. I want to make it universal on both sides, but I don't want to copy that on each end, so I'll turn off the symmetry tool. Hold on a minute. I had Colorado's Medicaid plan twice and it saved my ass. Like, I had that insurance when I had my skate crash and it saved me from the medical bankruptcy when later on I was unemployed for a bit and got on health in Colorado again, got my Orky also for free. Let's fucking go! Hell yeah! See, that's what I'm talking about. And like, you know what? The morale of workers is better when you pay them for the work that they do and they're not constantly worried about dying. Yeah, that really does help morale. Making fake teamwork meetings does not do that. I don't have a job, so my €5 co-payments and meds got cut to 0, and now because I have a more expensive version of Med, I freaked out. Oh no. I'm sorry. Was a really radicalizing experience. No, yeah. I mean, it was very much the same with me. I was just like, I didn't know there was something better, and now that I do, I'm never going back. I refuse. So let's see, we got that. I'm gonna take that kind of brighter bottom area there. Give that a little of that. How'd I go with this again? No, wait, I know. Okay, so we'll take that color there, color that in, scrooby-dooby-doo. We get into that little mid area there with the high saturated pink. And that's gonna be just like right in the middle there, just like right there. Just give it that sort of darker curvature, just a bit. There we are. Yeah, let's try and even out how that displays the lower portion there of the shine on the eye. Very pretty, very good. I love it. Awesome. And now we'll do it on the other side. What's going on here? We'll say that Medicaid is the only reason I can afford medicines. I have a medication I pay $3 for that would normally cost over $1K. Don't know how much longer I have of it, but I keep taking as long as they give it to me. Oh yeah! And see, that's the thing, like I am a very different person without therapy and antidepressants and anti-stress pills and the things that keep me breathing and the things that... Me with a less intact mind is a dangerous thing. And it's for the better of everyone's safety that I am under some level of medical access. Yeah, me too, honestly, Raven. Like, I hope that you can keep on that. Because, like, everyone should just have healthcare. Everyone should just have what they need. The money is there. At the end of the day, that's the thing. Like, we have the means. Whether it's used correctly or not, however, that's up to our horrid overlords, but we won't talk about it. We have enough to worry about in the world. We've got... Oh, that looks good. So there we go. There's the eyes, and I want to give... Did I choose... No, yeah, I was still using black for that. I wonder... I started kind of drawing characters a little bit with like a much deeper, like, dark color there. Of just like the same sort of palette, and I think I kind of like that. So I'm gonna do that like that for now, and if I feel like just making that like a dark gray or a black later, I can. But I kind of like this stylistically speaking. Let's hope I'm rooting for y'all, Amera friends. Yes, we'll do our best. Thank you, everyone. Cheer emotes. Keep us going. Okay, so there's that. Now, let me talk about, and this is like a later stage usually, but I'm gonna do it now just because to show. When it comes to why I chose this to be that more kind of muted blue, is now we can take this white all the way up here, and I'm going to give this a little bit of flair. Let's say, like, where do I usually do that, the highlights? So for this one, I've kind of changed the way I do it a little bit. I add a little bit more of a dash here and there, but there's just like two little spots there. One highlight going on in the iris and one very defined one right on the top there. And what I will actually do with that as well is, like, even though, you know, you've got like, okay, here's like a little shine, like, say right here. Let's do that. It's right on the side of the eye. That kind of top corner, say the light's coming from there, that'll be our light source. And we'll do one right here. Also, I should make this, like, a top layer. What am I doing? So you got that there. A little bit of that. I think sometimes I like it to kind of cut a little bit into the line of the iris just to add a little extra layer of, you know, 3D. And just right there. Very nice, very cute. And so with that, maybe we'll even do like, I guess that's usually just where I call it there, and then we'll add a little touch maybe around here. But enough to get a little bit of light play going, basically. And I think that looks good for me. Just some light. But the other thing we can do is if I get underneath here with a little bit of black and I just give this a little bit of a border, just a little bit of spill out, that adds an immense amount of like pop for that. And I love the way that does that, so that's what I'm doing for the rest of that. I think there is this notion of Americans are just dumb here, but I just spoke to too many Americans in the last 5 years to think that still. Dumb motherfuckers are everywhere. Exactly. See, that's the thing, like, I sure as hell, yeah, when I was like a younger person who thought I knew everything, I'm just like, man, wake up, sheeple, everyone doesn't realize shit sucks. But like, as you get older, you realize, like, no, people know that they're under tyranny and there's chemicals in their food. They just don't want to think about it 24/7 because it makes you insane. You want to be happy and live your fucking life. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing we can do. There's one thing we can do, and we can't talk about it on Twitch, so it's really hard to set up. So if you don't have that to throw away, then you know, it's not so easy, and sometimes you just want to live your goddamn life. I am at that point in my life now where I've completely checked out of politics, and I'm like, you know what, if it doesn't directly affect me or there isn't a neck I can reach, I don't care. I don't need to know about the drama that's supposed to make me upset right now. Because whether I hear it or not, the world goes the same way. So, you know, I don't know. I've been to enough rallies, I've been to enough going to things, and watched enough innocent people get shot in the eye with rubber bullets, and seen enough harm done on our end and no actual change. And I think also watching what change we did supposedly win get ripped away elections ago, even still, already, like, I'm disillusioned, man, and like, how could you not be? Like, I think if you look at even just the history that I have witnessed and been fighting in, like, you can look at that and go, no, yeah, I get it. I get why you just don't ever want to talk about this shit ever again. Because it's a real thing. It's just, you know. That's all we have to talk about, though. We don't have to go into that any further. I'm just saying, that's my take on it, as long as it's up in the air there. If I could just make, like, a little more... There we go. There we are. Yeah. Very nice. Fair and understandable. Yeah. But yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, most people are really cool. Everyone is usually just scared or tired and doesn't actually bear you directly any ill will. Or any ill bill, or any Vinny Paz, or whatever, any of those gentlemen. Let's put that over here as well. Just right around there. Actually, further from the light source even more, so I should put that here. Another thing that I didn't learn till later, shine can be on shadow. Light can be hitting this here, but there can be some shadow cast by the rest of the eye. And that creates a cool little effect here that I will show you right now, if and I may. We have to solve every politics problem right now in this stream, online, with our neighbors. But no, yeah. Let's go in here. Right, okay, so there's that. There's the girl. She's cute. I'm going to... Breezy could do it. Hell yeah. You know, a few more trips to Lowe's, a couple of orders over the deep net, and we'll talk about it, but I'm still working on it. School project. Breezy. Easy Breezy, our president. If you cannot pee, you are not free. What was I running on? I made like a fake... I know last election cycle I made like a fake poster. Just like, I don't know, something about like cat girl smash or something, I don't know, one of those things. But running entirely on the Communist Party. It'd be great. What was I doing? Right, so here's this, here's that. Right, so we're gonna do some shade on the eyes, obviously underneath the highlights, so we create a thing here. I'm just gonna make that a normal vectorized layer. Give me, well, rasterized layer, excuse me. I'm gonna, because we're using this in a very, you know, kind of symmetry sort of situation, I'll just keep it there and keep it simple. We're gonna bring this around the corner of the eye up a bit and then just into that little lower corner there. I'm gonna fill that in, and we're going to lower the opacity on that, obviously. The way I do most, like, base hard shadows, I really don't bring the opacity past anything like, I don't know, 24 is usually where I land it. It's enough to, like, kind of make its point, but not be too much of an issue, so I'll bring that to, like, here. 24. 25. Patrick. I'm not really doing a great SpongeBob. I'm forgetting what I'm doing. Awesome. Alright, so there's that. And we have the eyes. Look at those eyes! Look at those fucking things. Look at those peepers. I think in retrospect I do kind of love the button nose. Looks more the way that I tend to operate from like a front view. So stylistically speaking, just stick to my own ways. Yeah, any way's valid, but that's what I'm gonna do. Alright, so the eyes as well, there's one other thing we can do here. Let's take the black layer here, where we have the rest of the eyelid and everything, the eyelashes at work, excuse me. And let's take a darker level of that. Not quite black, but like just above it. And we're gonna take a blending brush, right around here. Where's my blending brush? Blending brush! Mixing brush here. So we'll take this. I'm going to set this to an opacity, the opacity lock, because that will keep it from pushing it into the non-opaque area by swishing it around. It'll keep it all the same amount of opacity, so that's good. And we'll clip it there. So we'll take this and we'll just add a little bit of dimension here. Let's get some nice kind of stringy sort of like, just like that. Some shade under those lashes there, and just like, and the I guess really, I don't know if there should be shade on what is essentially just kind of the cat eye, but sure, why not? So we put that there, we create some shade on that lash as well, and just give that a little bit more dimension to that. We can also take a slightly lighter area here, and just add some highlights, just like make it a little brighter, in fact, right in the middle. Give some little highlights at the top to just make the top of it a little bit shinier. The people, they love it shiny. They say, Breezy, you didn't make it shiny this time. I'm going to kill you with a wrench. And I don't like hearing that. I like to please people. I like them to be happy. So I don't mind putting in a little bit of time there, just like that. There you go. Perfect. Nice. Good. But yeah. And so you see, there's already more light play, more kind of a cute level of depth there. It does so much, that little bit of it. One thing that I usually use, that you'll find I didn't do here, and I don't know why I didn't, probably because this is just a reference, but when I'm doing traditionally someone's full rendered illustration, I will create the, you know, not chromatic abrasion, that's not what I'm thinking of, the occlusive, the thing where you connect lines so they're not a jagged spike. It helps with coloring too. The occlusion, basically, where you go like, oh, here's where the hair meets that, and there's like a big spike in that there. Let's round that out a little bit. Let me do that in a way that's visible to show what I'm talking about. Like that, you see? So like, and that adds a level of depth. It does do a lot for the look of it, and it makes it easier to work on. I didn't do that this time. It's okay, you don't have to. Like Patrick Star said, hero worship is unhealthy, SpongeBob. You need to get on that G Fuel. Patrick, I'm pretty sure that'll give me a heart attack.
No, you don't understand! This stuff is just pure caffeine!
It is. Listen, I love G Fuel. That's why I love G Fuel. I talk about this every stream, I know, and I'm not paid to say it, and I really wish they would pay me. But G Fuel, I've been on that for like 2 or 3 years now. But like, I once went like, oh, you know what, let's be fancy and try Gamer Supps. It looks like it's a little bit less caffeine, but let me give it a shot. And that has nootropics in it. Nootropics are... I mean, they might as well be untested brain chemicals, and similarly, they gave me a horrid panic attack after about half of one of them, and I was, like, jogging through town trying to keep my heart from exploding. So, I don't recommend it. I don't recommend that one. Could just be me, but like that, like, God, when I had to, oh God, there was a shipment of G Fuel that didn't show up, and Jay and I needed our caffeine, and we're like, what do we do? So, I tried getting, like, that ghost I don't know whose branding that is, but I tried just one of those, like, this energy drink. Even things with less caffeine than what I'm used to taking, they have weird chemicals in them now. What happened to, like, oh, this has guarana and caffeine and taurine in it, and that was enough? Dog, they're putting shit in this stuff now that's like 8 billion karmatrine, and you're like, your heart's like, ah, I can't take it. I think you need to grow up with it, or you need to adapt to it. Like, what drinks are made of now? I can't do that shit. I can't. If I drank a Monster, I would die. I can't do that anymore. I'm too old for this shit. It's not for me. Not a fan. But yeah, so there's some eyes. She's cute. She's great. You love her. Yeah, and we're gonna... All right, yeah, so there's that. All that fun little rendering here. I think what I might even do, let's add a little bit more brightness into here. You know, I'll save the glowing for later. The glowing can come later. We're gonna go ahead and we're going to do the hair now. The hair is very fun, and it's a lot of the time-consuming stuff. Let's take that deep level, and here's the other thing too. I usually use the levels that I do with eyes. That kind of like shaded portion of that pink color there. And we'll take that and we'll just go, let's do... Where the pink is, I didn't consider. I already kind of did the eyes. So what I'm gonna do, let me select that whole area. And then we'll take some reductive, like, unselect tool here. And I want to unselect the eyes here with a little bit of this pen here. Just so we're not affecting the pink in that. Because the eyes, I want those to stay the same. But I'm just working on the pink layer for the hair. That's all we're doing. So, without further ado, let's go ahead. I'll take my spray brush here, my little spray can. I usually go with like the lowest hardness. I'd like to add more layering as I can. Wonder the world and capitalism if it would still exist without stimulants. No, we would all have died. Like, everyone I know who works on like physical jobs has to like chug energy drinks. So you can't. It can't be done. There's too much demanded of us. Most I can do is give you pills so you hate it here so much, so you don't hate it here so much. That's fair. But no, yeah, like, what was I getting at? There's like back in the day, like, all we needed was coffee. It's like, yeah, you also needed one job for only 5 days a week for a reasonable amount of hours to have a family of 5 and 2 cars and a house. So, shut up. How about that? Let's go ahead and hit this. That's not what I wanted to do. We want to lock that layer on pink. There we go. So we're gonna even make that a little smaller. Just kind of create some depth here already. This will all be moved around, but we're just going to say, okay, those darkest ends here that aren't immediately hitting the light, make that a little darker. Hit that down here as well, and just kind of like where the hair comes to the crown of the head. Works its way into the scalp. And we got that there, and we're gonna fill that in, hit a little bit below there on that portion of the little hair popping out. Nice and easy. But there you go. But yeah, there's that. And we'll do some highlights. Let's take... We have that base color over here, so we can have that if we need to reference it later if we use too much of this. But let's take a little... Oh, I forgot. Let's take that deeper color there and just add some shade here. Just pop it in here while we're here. Just give that a little... There we go. Yeah. There we go. Shadow. Nice. So there's that. But yeah, let's get some highlight here. I'm thinking like pull it up to like here in brightness. Nothing too crazy because we'll add some like legitimate shine on here later, but that'll just add a little fluffy good feelings here. Hello, I'm Fluffy Good Feelings. How are you? Would you care to buy some chocolates? Oh, gee, Fluffy Good Feelings, I hear chocolate's bad for your teeth. Fuck you, buy them. Oh, okay, I love peer pressure. I'm inventing a demented puppet show in my head. I don't know. Maybe I'll need to show y'all I'm working on a like intro to Pee-wee's Playhouse YPP because I'm insane. Cowlicks! Hell yeah. Well, ahoge, I think is what it is in Japan, but it is just a cowlick, really. She's getting so cute. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we're aiming for capturing my favorite picture I drew of her right here. And just trying to go, okay, this is my reference that I've been working off of. If anyone else needs to, or I need to, I just figure if I just have it laid out flat, it's going to make so much more sense. But I love that about it. And this gives me, of course, again, you know, perfect opportunity to showcase what I know. Love to help where I can. Let's throw this in here, give it a little bit of shine, just spread that around here, where the light's going to be hitting the crown of the head there. And, you know, it's coming in there, it's hitting the sides here, and maybe getting a little bit more of that side of the bun than the other. So we'll darken that a bit with, like, the normal shade. Maybe even add some more of the shade color there on that side. Just really getting in there. I want to do that. Yes. Perfect. So there's that. And we got her. She's looking good. And that's hair. Now, the thing that I do with hair, well, actually, also, we add a little bit more of the light pink and maybe a little more highlighting if necessary. I don't think we'll need much in that way, but where it starts kind of popping up here and kind of facing the light again. We can even kind of hit that edge where it's coming in the back hair there. We'll just create a little bit of highlight in there, just a little bit to kind of zhuzh things up a bit. Because that's going to be kind of facing light again, just a little bit, and that's coming up there. So, you know, it gives it that little bit of light play and stuff, and the kids, they love it. So there's that. What I'm going to do now is we're going to blend this hair. Better cowlick than idiot hair. I don't know, I love idiot hair. That's why I have it. What, you think I got this being smart? Let's take this. I think another thing I'll do as well, I'm gonna make this area kind of behind the head even darker. Just like that. Like my immortal dark. Like you don't understand my feelings, Mom dark. Just like that. And we'll just put that in here. There we go. More depth. And just put that in that consideration. Not too much, but just enough to create a certain amount of fun. Yes. If you don't have some fun, then what are you doing? Einstein was smart and he's dead. That's a fair point. So how smart could he be, really? My immortal dark is quite dark and also edgy. All of me! Yeah, so me too. I too, they're one of those things that, like, when I was 10, it stuck with me in a nostalgic way that it will never go away. Like, I'll always be playing that album. I'll always be listening to Eiffel 65. You cannot stop me. There are just these things that I go, you know what, I know there's nostalgia involved, but I like it. It makes me happy. Also, speaking of that era of time, Fred Durst says trans rights. So, let me... I'm saying the right name, right? He's Limp Bizkit man, right? Yeah. Cool guy, apparently. He does, yeah. I mean, like, I know that he was in, like, I Saw the TV Glow as, like, the weird dad for the main character. But, like, also he, like, someone posted about it, like, and showed a picture of it. Like, someone is an online friend with him, and they like to just talk about, like, the anime that they watched. And it's just really wholesome and shit. It's just like, goddamn, dude. But it leads back into the joke that it was a response to, actually, where someone was mentioning, like, you know, there's that lyric where it's like, hey fellas, where you at? Hey ladies, where you at? And all the people who don't give a fuck! And so, like, that's recognizing NB rights right there. That's... it was always kind of there, whether he knew it or not. But he's, yeah, no, he's like, he has a really cool trans friend, and he's like, he's pro, like, human rights. I'm like, let's fucking go! You love to hear that about the weird, edgy guy you listened to when you were younger. Meanwhile, Kanye West is a Nazi. I don't know what happened in the world. But, like, more than anything, they're comparing that. I don't know who they are, but some problematic, like, supposedly deep emo band who has a really bad problematic singer. Couldn't do it right, but the guy who was considered one of the most jock stereotypes in music is cool with us. It's like, see how easy it is? I don't know. I don't get the whole being on the wrong side of history thing. It's a very short-lived career, man. Like, people are gonna stop talking about you, you know? Maybe white people co-opting rap wasn't so bad. Well... not as bad as we thought, but the co-opting the rap has nothing to do with it. It's more, you know... maybe being an edgy badass, if it's coming from a good place, is fine. Maybe that is okay. Anyway, I haven't been keeping on this little dark... I take the darkest area of the hair to do these little what's the opposite of highlights? These shadows, these kind of more blunt ones that I just use the main pen for to kind of really define that this is a sharp shadow angle here that's just really casting absolute coverage here. And we're just kind of creating that little bit of resistance there, a little bit of that. Create the resistance! We create the resistance here, cover this and color that. There you go. Very nice. Very good. They're on the wrong side of history, but this is like some alternate timeline. No, yeah, like, you know, Kanye West becoming how he did, Fred Durst becoming how he did. Couldn't have called it, especially in the time. Like, during their heydays, I guess one came after the other, but like, you know what I mean. I couldn't have called it. I would not have known. There was no way for anyone to know, but time makes fools of us all. Or really cool allies, depending on... Be on the good side of that, you know? Let me color that. There we are, looking grand. But yeah, it filled my little nostalgic heart with joy to hear that apparently Durst is a cool dude. Lowlights? History because this is... what? I don't know about lowlights. I don't know what that is. Anyway, so right, I was going to talk about blending the hair in. So we have here that main color here and there. We have some highlights, we have some darkness. Oh, we like shifted to an alternate universe or something. No, yeah. We absolutely did. Okay, so yeah, here's how I'm gonna do the hair. So again, we want to take this hair layer in the pink there. We, take it in the pink. We're gonna grab some... Oh gosh, did I... I think I accidentally spilled over a little bit in this area. Let me fix that. Forgot to keep that masked. No! Mask up, kids! That you should do anytime you can. I know it's annoying, but, you know. Yeah, you gotta do it. There we go. There we are. Alright, so that's... Got rid of that spill over there in that department. Okay. Yeah, the shading I was doing just went a little ham. Okay, so there we go. What I want to do with this hair now with the lighter and darker areas. Opposite of highlights is low light. Oh, okay. I got what you mean. Yes, thank you. You were correct. I'm falling behind my own, whatever I'm talking about. Words come out of my mouth. Hell if I listen. And so, to myself, I mean. So let's go ahead in this pink layer here where we have these highlights and the dark areas here. I want to take that bright area. From the bright area, we're just gonna spread it out a bit. We're just going to create a little bit of fun here. I want to use, say, I guess like at the resolution I'm using, it would be good to take... First of all, get the blending brush and make that like 8. Start with 8. Kind of some wide swaths here. Just dragging that color out. Creating those kind of hair strands there to just sort of go, here you go. Here's our, you know, kind of always bringing it toward where the base of the hair kind of comes from, you know, bring it toward the roots with the flowing of the hair, keep it true to that, but just give it a little bit of feathering and a little bit of fun. And we'll start by doing that. And then what you'll do is we'll take the outside color, the other shades of it, and just work those in. One into the next one, each one of them, and it works pretty well, you'll see. We'll take this, create that little bit of there, and then we work it back into it with the surrounding color. So we take this pink here, it's a bit darker, and we'll take that blending brush as well and just make this from 8 to like 6. Make it a little smaller, something to kind of put into the points that we've just created here. And just create a little bit more play in the hair. Just a little bit more fun to be had. These very thin kind of triangles of space. Maybe create a little shade with that color here, where it's not like really shaded, but it's just like not highlighted. Makes that look a little meatier. And we just throw that in there, just creating that same little vibe here. Kind of almost aiming for the tips of it. Just to make them finer. Just like that. Maybe get like a bit into it just so it isn't too the same. And just create a sort of organic, not too overly, you know, you want to create different peaks so that it looks natural. And we're getting some hair here, it's happening. I want to do... Let me pull this in here. Just like that. A little bit more, pull that in so it doesn't get too much of a mess. But yeah, we're getting some hair there. It's looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. But yeah, there's that. Pull this in here. Dropping off for now, but it was fun watching Breezy. Hell yeah, you should see me play games. I'm even more of a goofball. Thank you for coming by. You have a wonderful time, and take care today. I will post what I do on my Discord, and I'll send it to you directly if you'd want to see it. I make the art. I have it a fun. So there's that. Let's do the dark end of here now. I want to grab that very dark area here. Let's take the brush again with that color selected and just use that to drag that color out. Again, just really filling in that portion. I guess if the light's coming from up there, we're not really casting a shadow with the other, but we're just kind of creating a little movement. Just enough to kind of, you know, it's mostly fluffed out, but there's that sort of coming inward that we see from that. Oh yeah, baby, come inward. That's where most people do, I guess. There's that. Yes. Look at that hair. Look at that hair-ass hair. Look at that, like, this texture. And you know, honestly, the way that I do this is I as I'm working on it, if anything looks to be spilling over too much on one end, or it just is taking up too much space, maybe needs to take up a little less room, just add more texture. Just pull it in a little bit, ring it in, reel it in a bit. Just go, okay, the highlights are highlighting too much, you know, and it's that easy. You just kind of get a feel for it there. Let's do this as well. I want to create some... Actually, no, wait, that's the wrong color, I think. No, it isn't. Never mind. I'm using the correct one. I am gaslighting myself. Just create that. You see here, especially with the kind of the twists and turns of the hair bun here, considering where the hair is coming from helps. And if you do that right, it adds to the effect, and it looks like, oh yeah, there's just this very rolled up portion of hair here with this very natural curvature that looks very nice, and it just works. You see, it just works. I just think they're neat. I'll crap with you, sweetie. And we put this in here, and we just get that in here. Yeah, yeah. There you go, look at all that hair. You see, that just creates this very nice, realistic, pointy hair, and I love it. Ah, not quite there. Go to my... There we go. Make it a little smaller. Pull that in a bit. Yeah. But yeah, look at that. So we'll do that on the other side here, too. Light's kind of coming in here, so we'll see a little more of that, but we can pull in with the base pink here. Or more so in that area, anyway. And we'll pop it in here, just right around this little bend here, where it's coming up. And just create a little bit of play there, make it fun. I wanna pull that up there as well. Don't over-highlight, you don't need to go too ham with it. So, really more shade and shadow than light, but I guess everything is a reflection of light. But yeah, I mean, what am I, an art teacher over here? So I'll fill that in. There's that. Kind of creating that natural curvature again, as we said. Pulling that in here. This is maybe also kind of showing a bit more here, but coming up this way. You can see it kind of like sprouting out there at the bottom, where it's just kind of like come loose a bit. And that's just part of that little area there. Looks cute, looks fun. Okay. And there you have it. So we got some hair. We'll definitely go back in and mess with it later, but for the time being, I think we're getting the idea. And we can revisit it to mess with later. I think this is a good place to kind of call it a base, you know, lighting and coloring done here. But I'll probably revisit that. I guess we could also hit up here as well, just to get that little highlight there. Yeah, give that a little more swoosh. Look at that swoosh. Oh, that swoosh. And we'll do the dark part too. So, shake that. And we'll just give that a little bit, happy little tree, just right there. Okay. Yes. Nice. Awesome. Alright. So there's her. Looking good, girl. Kicking ass. Changing the world. And that's that for now. Okay. So, while we're here, let's do the head skin. Might as well do that. So we'll create another thing. You can work off the skin layer. I'll just create another clip layer to it because it just makes more sense to me. I'm gonna do that, and we're gonna create a little bit of tone. Ah, not like that. Crap. We're going to take... No, wait, that is what I'm gonna do. That is... Okay, yeah. So we'll take this color here. I like to take the skin tone wherever the hell it is, if I'm starting especially with like kind of the brighter end of things. And I want to bring that to like a red on the wheel here. Create that sort of natural blush and pull it in the hue just a little bit to create, you know, toward the right there to create a little more color. And lightly, I mean lightly fucking spray this in. Kind of create the edges of the head here, around like the shadows of the ears and the hair and stuff. Like first we're just gonna get like a soft little border of where the head is. And considering, of course, again, where the light's coming from, there's gonna be a little more shadow on the left side. Just like that. Kind of create the curvature of the jaw there, create that sort of structure. And I think that looks good. I almost like... I love the way that kind of puffs out the cheek a bit, but then see, at the same time, I'm like... Well, actually, let me grab that again. At the same time, I find myself wondering if maybe, like, that could have a little bit less power on there, just a little bit more... Yeah. Because we want the face to really kind of shine here. But yeah, I think that covers that. On the side that the light is not necessarily shining down on, I like to create a little bit of a, like, from the base of the bottom of the eye to, like, around where the top is. Let the head shadow kind of become a part of that. Get that into, like, here, around the sides from behind it, just kind of drifting up this way and up out this way, you know what I mean? Just, like, there's some shadow there. That's gonna be a thing. So just in that perimeter there. Also kind of creates it around where the neck is. We want to make that a little bit darker, but we'll deal with the hue and the toning and stuff before we deal with a lot of the shadow here. It's just going to kind of also be a part of it. I'll put that here in the ear there, and we'll take, say, I don't know, a little bit darker. Just like more hue, I guess you should say. And we'll take this and just make it saturation, whichever. What is this song? I know it, but I can't name it right now. This is... Let me see. Oh, I gotta go to the actual page. This is playing from a thing. 5244 is... 5244 would be... Okay, it's a Soleil opening theme. I'm probably saying that wrong, but yeah, it's that. Soleil. Something to that effect. Genesis game. Anyway, so now that we have that, let's create that little bit more shadow here. Got a little bit of hue, it's kind of darkening that out, so I'm going to just select the area under the chin. More of the shade here, just create some natural looking shadow here. Just like that. If anything, I went too ham there. I can pull that back a little. Got a little transparent spray here and just, yeah. That arpeggio even sounds a little bit like YMO. Actually, no, it's reminding me of the radio song by Meta 5, so kind of adjacent, but different band. Radio. Okay, so yeah, so now that you have that, you can also use this in, like, kind of under the ears. That little darker tone there, we can use that to define the nose. Let's give, like, a tiny little amount of color here, and just put that up here, select that all. Just, look at that! 3D nose. Look at that, you've created a little bit of play on that. We'll even go as far as to highlight that once we get to that stage, but again, all times in good thing. And we'll take this, put that over here, give the ear a little bit of depth, just create a little darkening here, just like that. And there she is. And yeah, I think that will mostly do it, but I'll take a little bit of that skin color, pull it up a little, just like that, and just gonna... I think I'm gonna add a little bit of glow there, just like that. Just where it's like the nose facing right up there. It just looks nice if you do that. Yeah. And we'll hit the top of the ear. And that one's fine how it is because, again, that's not going to necessarily be the source of the light. And around there, I can put a little bit at the top of the lip to... Let me make that a little bit brighter. Just a little. Somewhere around here. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's good how it is. We can add a glow layer for, like, some fancier crap later, but look at that! Look at how this is coming together. Look at this girl. But see, this is how I do what I do. Just like that. Slowly, or in America, it's Crusader of Senti. I know there's like Soul Blazer used to be Soul Blader. Why is it Soul Blazer in the US? Was Blader too hard to understand? Is this like a thing that people were not familiar with? What are you talking about? But anyway, right. So yeah, but look at we've rendered some skin and it looks nice. That sounds way more bloody and violent and weird than it is. So there's that. We can also take this dark shading here. We'll take like the medium shading here, of course, first, and we'll start figuring out the hands here. Like, look at these hands. Let's say I want to take that portion of it, skin there, go into that little shading and highlighting area, and just create a little bit of like, there's some darkness from that cuff. This is the bottom here where it's not directly seeing the sun, so there's a little more color coming in a little further than the actual darker shadow will. But enough to just kind of create a, like, this is not where the light's directly shining. Just a little bit of depth. Little bit of fun. Just to play around with. As a treat. We can have a little as a treat. And then we'll take that brighter area here like that, because again, we're kind of facing the light there. Let's do... I don't know, like this. There we go. Nice. Nice. Clean. Alright. Actually, that kind of spills into the other area of the hand. Let's keep it over here. Yeah. So you got the highlights on there. You got that on the fingies. The people, they love the fingies. Yes. Look how much we just did. Look what that did for us. We can then go in and take the darker portion of the highlighting here and hit the like very like definedly, like, you know, this cuff is causing a shadow, right? So we're gonna have a little bit more there. We're gonna take the brush again still, but just really selectively take that edge and just create like that underside where there's gonna be that complete lack of light. Just around there. You can see how much this does with such a small area of space. With such a unassuming amount of work, it just makes this real great effect happen. And bring that in just a little bit too. Yeah, there we are. Look at that fucking hand. If I was smart, I would have had on all the tools to make that happen on the other side too. But now we get to do it manually because, again, I remembered I got the light different on it. So even though it's going to be mostly the same because it's top lit, it's coming from a little bit off the side. I want to see if I can make this look a little different and still look coherent. Let's do a little exercise, why don't we? I'm going to take this little portion here, right around here. I think that's the right one. Yeah. We'll take that and we'll get in here. Let's do... Oh, in America, the name of Terranigma is... What, Terraligma? What are we getting at here? I'm gonna take the spray can here. We're gonna put this, like... Man, it's a little bit darker on this side. Especially because we're facing away from the light source, but there's still some top light hitting it. It's just not gonna be as immense. Honestly, I might keep most of this to not being highlighted unless we're hitting, like, the very corner of that hand there. And again, just create that first little portion of shading there. A little bit of that taken away. And just create a little story here. I'll take that darker color here, just there that is, just right in there. Let's give you like, there. Seems like a coherent way to create that shadow. Yeah, just create the shadow down here. And around that corner now. It's going up, it's feeling it, but it's still kind of mostly facing away, so we're just creating enough to create that illusion of a hand under natural light. Natty light. Look at that. For consistency, I will add a little bit of highlight, but we're just gonna keep it real basic, just like right up here. Right over here. Here comes the Crimson Chin! What the hell is that? There's that, and there's like up on the knuckle there too. There you go. Hell, let's even give that a little love. And there you go. Hands. Easy. I mean, anyone can do it. Anyone can hand it. Hand it till your hands fall off. Truly the peak of Quintet's games and the Soul Blader trilogy. Oh, yeah. Oh, I see. I get what you mean. We didn't get that one. Oh, for sure. For sure. It's like the Gaia series was kind of weird for a bit. I know that. Alright, so yeah, there's that. Yes, that looks good. Keep it simple. Let's do a little bit of taking that. I want to bring in the... I guess we'll start again with like the lesser shading here. Create a little bit of just like kind of form defining here on the legs. That's going to have a proper shadow because of the skirt, of course, but for now we're just going to work on these themselves. Let's take, I don't know, like, in fact also let me use this tool here to get both of those. Just around the sides, hit that skin, give it a little bit of life to it, just blood running through the veins, you know. The people, they love it when the blood runs through the veins, especially if they prefer to live. That really does help with that. And you bring this down, I said down, right around there. And create those little knee pockets there, just right where that knee bone is, creating a little bit of that definition. Even if we're keeping them cute and simple, like just kind of creating a little bit of action with that shade. Looking good. Even just like where those socks are too, I can pull that in. Hit that with the shade as well. Yada yada yada. And let's take that highlight thing, that little brighter color here we were using, and use that to just kind of highlight these knees a bit. Get those like good and nice and wonderful. Def worth playing today still. No, sure. Absolutely. I feel like I tried to play Soul Blazer once, but like I think that was when like the Capitol was getting stormed. And then, like, Sass came in and said, Breezy, no one's gonna watch you, there's news happening. I was like, oh, I was just gonna play a childhood game. But to be fair, I kept getting lost in it. And that is really kind of the bane of older games, is if you're not used to playing them a lot more recently, it's really easy to get lost in video games from the SNES era. So it's like, you know, would it be good for streaming? I don't know. But maybe at some point we'll get back to that. Who can say? So you see we're creating the shine kind of in the middle here of the leg. It's kind of naturally grabbing that light, and it looks really good. In a way, I might mess with the contrast later, but I do think I like what this is doing for us, and I want to take that, like, go back into that darker portion of skin there, hit this with a little bit more shade, just right around there. Create a little Gonna take that off there for a minute. Give me, like, that. Yeah. Knees! Beautiful knees. Right there. So there's that. And then also it's going to be kind of a little bit darker also in, like, the inner side of the leg. So we'll bring that in as well. Just a little bit more depth to call home. And just bring it on in. All of that glorious shadow. Turn off the thing, give that a little more over here, because again, not the root of where the light's coming from. And I'm going to give that, like, a little bit of a shadow here, just from the skirt. Nice. Just like that. Alright. Good, good. Oh, she come together. Hell yeah. There was also something I forgot. I didn't give her blush. Knees! Let's do... I want to give her a little bit of blush, because I think I did that with her design, yeah. Let's take... That's actually such a good little, like, pink skin color there. Let me take that. If it's not too close to our shading. I guess it kind of is, but that is sort of the redness of the skin we're working with, so I don't mind that. What I might do is pull this all the way to the red end over here just to really kind of drive that home. And just kind of put that underneath that skin. Well, I guess underneath the eye on the skin. But enough to give kind of a nice little playful glow to the cheeks here. Just like that. Maybe not quite just like that. I feel like whenever I draw blush, I do it quite a few times. I'm never quite sure how I want it to look. But in trying to get that just right, there's like a... It can be hard to really figure out where it's supposed to be hitting. Like, I used to not put it right under the eye, but then, like, the more I looked at art, I'm like, no, people, they have it kind of come up there, and that's because that's, like, where that faces the sun more, and it's like, these things you realize you don't really focus on until you do, and... So there's that. If we want to be even more drastic, we could take a, like, non-spray color to just kind of put that down bluntly and create some little, like, blush marks. Actually, more than anything, I would make that a little redder for that. Just... You know, don't do that the same on both sides, obviously, but... Ah, no. Let me turn that off there. But yeah, just like that adds a little bit more character there, just a little bit of like, yay, look how cute and youthful and fun I am, I'm blushing. Hey, did I just steal $20 out of your pocket? Don't worry about it. There we go. Nice. But yeah, look at that. Very nice. So there's that. She's looking great. I love the way this is going. The skin, mostly done here. We can revisit it later at the final step of all of the other fancy crap we'll do, but there's that. Now we are going to do the, let's do the black. Black is fun, because like it's hard to shade if you don't know what you're doing, so it'll be a good little teaching moment here. So, get that kind of mid-tone there that we have. We're gonna take fairly darker. Again, not all the way into like complete black, but like enough to create plenty of depth. And what I'm gonna do is just kind of take these curves that I dictated should be here because I was like, yeah, this makes sense to me as to where this would lay on her. And we'll take a little bit of creative fun here, just go on the correct layer, frankly, and just create some shadow. Just use that spray can, get it at a decent shape to just sort of create that. Like, and as you'll see here, like, you know, you can use this to kind of fill in that crevice. More so what I will do, though, is if I create a little definition there, I am more so wanting to take that a little bit smaller, create a defining thing with the rest of that. Like, yeah, there's that little turn in there, but that's then casting this shadow here. It's becoming this sort of clump of fabric, which really should come out a little wider at that point there. So just, it's very subtle, but I'll spend a lot of time just methodically going over how I want these things to look. And the time pays off. Like, I will spend a lot of time rendering the shadows and clothing just because I'm very, you know, as we say, I'm very particular, and it can be a very also semi-confusing thing, like while you're working with it, it more comes together. So this is just gonna be, because like I'm using too small a brush now actually too. But just like that, just create a little bit of play, but don't follow right on the lines, let them be the guide for like what is creating the shadow, you know what I mean? So like, just like that, a little bit of that going on, a little bit of just coming around that area and creating something there. This is of course kind of pluming out from the skirt that it's tucked into, so that's gonna have a little bit of shade underneath it, just kind of creating that little pop out that it has. That little effect of being a little bit more 3D. Just pop this in here, give that a little bit more fun there, because that's going to be more hidden by the light than those. And just really get in those areas, especially where you have the seam here. That's going to be going in naturally on its own, so just give it an edge, like that. And we'll give it some shade here, a little bit more on this end too, just like give that little area there a little bit of love. You can see that creates its own little illusion there, and then that's coming this way, and it just looks kind of nice. And that's there, and it's just, you see what I mean? It's very, just kind of, it's almost kind of zen pushing this around, honestly. You just kind of, you find that flow with it that just feels right, and it can be frustrating or it can be zen. It depends. That's true of any skill in life, I know, but it just depends how you want to approach it. For me, I just like to mess with it till it feels natural, and I think it looks good. There's a method to it, but you know, the science doesn't solve the art, you know? It doesn't answer exactly what I want to do with it while I'm working on it. Other ideas come up, like how I want to execute it will change over time. We have this here now. We're going to create a little bit more in that area, create some, a little bit of depth here too. She has breasts, but she is wearing a very loose top, so there's not a ton of definition there. But there is a little bit to be considered, so figure that's maybe coming in a little bit on a rounded surface. Maybe there's a little bit more shadow up in the center, and that can kind of create that illusion of that. I'm feeling the softness of the fabric here, right? Exactly, that's what we want. Create an edge. No, that's just 90s anime trends. Edge. Let's do that, and now you do that with the sleeves too. And like with these, again, we have these little, you know, it's a very silky fabric. And I like that to come across. We'll take that, create that little shade there, just create these kind of absence of light shapes that just really give it some life here. And maybe also just kind of darken the areas that are kind of falling in on themselves here, creating those shadows. Just like that. And kind of make it clear that we're working with a very thin, versatile fabric here for this. You know, the way that you illustrate it, and especially the way that you paint it, will entirely be dependent on like what kind of material you're using, so always keep that in mind. One thing that I say all the time, have a reference, especially if you're drawing something for the first time without a main reference. You use like, how do I draw this? Look it up. Like, look up pictures of this kind of fabric and like those loose fitting sort of like more street outfits, and just look at how light hits it. Look at how it behaves. Even then, I tend to break those rules, but you know, you need a starting point, and that really, really helps. Take that again. I'm gonna throw this down on here, just get those belts captured. Just like that. Create those shadows. Right around here. I think it's going to fit in there, but it's going to be coming down here as well. Nice and easy. Maybe casting a little bit from there, but not a ton. And so that's going to get in that pocket there. It's going to get up here. Remember, if it looks too mechanical, it won't look natural, so it's just a matter of moving it around till it looks good. And right now I think we're working pretty well off of our guides because I'm liking how this is looking. I'm gonna create a little bit more there of some shading from that sleeve on top of that part of the sleeve. And just, you know, anywhere that looks like there's too little going on, that means you should intervene and mess with it. Like so. And see, look how wide that swoosh is now. It feels more natural, feels more right. Yes. Just give it a little more disruption. There we are. Now, if I'm being honest, I'm not 100% happy with this, but it's a thing I can play around with and mess with as I go. Again, this is a thing where you want to just kind of mess with it naturally, mess around with it, wait till it feels perfectly workable, but I'm still not sure that I believe these lines. I'm interrogating these lines a bit, and I'm going like, you know, I could mess with this a little more. And I think that I will over time, but I'll find a good stopping point here so we can get to the rest of the body, and we can fine-tune a lot of the scrap a little bit later. But I want to give an idea for what I do here, best I can. So that's creating that little, like, that little shadow there, just the definition of that folding in on itself. Creates its own little amount of fun, and just that, yeah. Big, bulky sleeve fabric. There we are. Especially be that there. A little bit of that as well. And there's that. Give me some of this. And a little of that. And just see, we're creating these little flowing lines with the ones we have to tell us what we're at, where we're doing, how we're what. Form more sentence. There we go. And just create that there. Create another little alcove of shadow here, just doing its thing. Probably perhaps casting a bit more on this end. Maybe hitting it a little bit darker. Just giving it a little bit of play. Just like that. But little enough that also that shadow of the sleeve, again, will show a bit more than the rest of it. There we go. That's looking pretty damn good. I'm also gonna do like a little bit of, just a little bit there maybe. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Okay. And there she is. We're looking pretty darn good. I don't really do any fancy amount of play in the straight outfits. No such thing here. But yeah, so I don't do a whole lot of like fabric, like motion play. I have a pretty stiff skirt here. It's designed to be like that. So what I'm going to do now is this flap over it, of course, will be creating a little bit of a shadow. We can consider that as well, but for now we'll just go off of like, you know, shading a sphere. You know, just take that portion. Just maybe even select the area that you're working with if you want to be more precise here. And we'll just take that, all of these little friends here. Let's go ahead and give this some shade. And what we're going to do for that, I'm going to take, oh, I don't know, probably just that same darker color. Maybe be a little lighter handed with it initially. Get a big brush. And give that, like, just considering that black portion there, create, like, a little bit of light play. It's coming at the top, but less so here than on the other side, so that's more kind of swooping up like that. Just like them. We'll take a little bit smaller brush here, create kind of some depth in this pocket that's coming off the side here. I would like to make it a little bit darker. Just create that little bit of fun right there, just to create a little bit of definition. Looks nice. Yeah. Okay. So there's that. We got this covered. It looks pretty darn good. Want to still maybe even collect a little bit more of this portion here. Just not have it be too showy. Because again, we're trying to get across that this is black. What I'm probably going to do even is I'll probably mess around with the... let me show you how to mess with certain aspects of this. If I want to make all of the shadows on this layer, like, you can just adjust all of the contrast at once. And in fact, I think that's what I'm going to do. Let me create a little shadow for this flap here. And I'm going to show you how I do that. I actually recently did that with a comm I had. I was like, this needs more, like, darker everything, but at the same rate. It's very easy to do. But let's do that first. Let me finish the shading on this portion, and then I will do that. First thing, we just need to hit that. Let me grab this clip here, give it, I don't know, like, just a little bit more that here, a little more brightness. Let me hit the shade here, like, oh god, you know what else? I didn't even highlight this yet, so again, getting ahead of myself, I am. Grab that, create a little darkness, if I can here, hold on, give me that. Oh right, I had a selected area, that's what happened. So we take that, create this little bit of just, yeah. Just like that. Just create the sort of natural gradient that comes along with that. A little bit lighter up here, just enough to create that nice little touch of something. I don't know just what, but something. And we'll hit it up here too, just right there on the buttons. Even though they'll have a little bit of a shadow cast on them. Just like that. From the rest of the buckle. Nice, nice. Also, I could, probably get rid of some of that. There you go. But yeah. Let me go ahead, we'll do some highlights, and then I will do the contrast trick here. Let me take that there, say... I guess I use glow for this usually. Let's use a glow layer, why not? Let's add that on top of this one. I think I can do that. Let's make that not normal, but glow layer. Add glow. Make that maybe like a blue light. I use some very unnatural light. Yeah, probably not that one. Get that into this area? What am I doing different? I'm not sure. You know what? So glad I still live with my mom in a way. I told her to lock the kitchen after I ate my daily budget of calories because dysphoria makes me really hungry, like right now. Oh god. That can be rough, yeah. I definitely do be having some snacking portions of my day. Okay. I'm forgetting color theory somehow. Let's do... Why is the glow not looking right? I run into this sometimes, but for the life of me, I'm sitting here like, what am I doing different now? Huh. I'm not sure. Huh. Huh. That's looking more rightish, but okay. We'll just go with that. Okay. Let me try to do a little bit of touch right there. Let's add a little larger of a brush, but not huge. Just a light amount of play here, creating some kind of distribution of light. Cause see, like, where the light hits that, right in that loop, that's gonna hit that. It's a little too wide, but, you know, pull that out. Yep. You see how this kind of becomes its own little thing? It takes in that light source and just sort of pulls it out. And And we will mess with the lines a bit, but for now, just give us our basic idea of what we're working with again, as usual. Start with a bit too much, end with a little bit less. You find out the ways to do it. Just like that. And there. Awesome. What I can also do is I can clip that to that area. Does that work? It does. Let's do that. Oh god. Just like that. Create a little bit more stuff there. Actually...
Time to drink up.
Oof. Oh!
Adorable little cat
Yes,
girl
thank you.
to hydrate, drink water.
I'm sweating. I need liquid to live. Oh. Thank you, thank you. Alright, so now I'm gonna take a little bit wider here. Create like, just a little bit of three-dimensional play on this. Just enough to create like, okay, this is clearly coming from a place of, you know, those glowing bits are of other areas being hit more so, but just creating a little bit of illusion here. But even as I say that, I almost feel like this is too much. So let me pull that back a little. A little bit of opacity there. Pull that down. Transparency was the word I was looking for there. Okay. And let me grab that. Because again, that thing I was mentioning where I was like, hey, I would love for this to come across as, you know, being black fabric. We don't really need to add a ton of highlights, it's just more so we need to create a certain amount of believable stuff here. So let's say we take this portion of this, right? This can be right around, I want to give that like a little more love, just not that color though. We're using that one, I think. Something around here. But just that little amount of touch on that. If we put this over here, I have a text. Huh? Oh. Getting text from the Democratic Socialist Party. Let's put this on here, get rid of that. And we'll just pop this up here. And get it all up in there. Give it the highlights and the happy-go-luckies. Just like that. Little touches here and there at like those sort of crescendos of where the light would fully be hitting it. It could truly be a little subtler, but it's just, I'm working with a chaotic palette, so maybe there's a little bit more going on, who knows. Hit this, a little bit of that. It's coming up that side as well. Sort of just a little play over here. Kind of similar to the shadow more than anything. We shouldn't be really touching that line, just letting it be our guideline for where the fabric is falling into, and just pop it over there, and you know. But yeah, there's that. Hit that top of there. There we are. And let that become its own little thing. Okay, so anyway, the thing I was talking about was if we take this and this very ruffled fabric here, and like how do we add a little bit more of like a density to this? Like we can mess with the brightness and the, you know, the difference in light here. The, what is the word I'm looking for? I am so dumb today. Huh? Oh. Weighed almost 300 pounds at one point. Food makes the bad feelings go away since puberty. But hey, it was either that or drugs. Best not to do drugs. Definitely eating a little bit more, that'll be easier to, yeah. The highlights are selling this fabric so hard. Thank you, I appreciate that. But yeah, like, see, yeah, I'm also going to use this kind of as a reference. Also, the thing I was saying earlier is just like, you know, you gotta always use references, like 100%. If I wasn't being perfectly clear on that, like always be using references. But yeah, you see here it's a little bit more muted. So the way that we accomplish this, let's pop in here. Let's take this portion of how this looks, and we'll take that layer. In fact, what I'll do, I'll even make that a part of it. Let me add that in. Merge those selected layers. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in here to my filter here. Let's go to the, no, not even. Let's go to my tonal correction. And we'll look at brightness and contrast here. So we're gonna bring down the brightness a bit. Make that a little bit, not that dark. That's too dark. But like right around here. And a lot of it can be pulled down by just like changing that contrast a bit. Like, we could pull the contrast down and pull the brightness down, so it's doing a little bit less and being a bit more subtle. The other thing we could do is still pull down that brightness, but maybe we could make that a little bit more. Maybe like if we pull brightness down a tiny bit and just add more contrast, those highlights become stronger. But like, I think what we need to do is bring the whole thing down a bit, which means bringing the contrast down with it a little bit. Just kind of finding that perfect little equilibrium there. And I think that, for me, that looks really good. This is a very, you just slide things around till it looks good, is my very strong recommendation. Just, you slide things around till it looks good. That's the long and short of it. With that can kind of be my guiding light for, okay, this is the shade of, like, full highlight here that I'm gonna use to go, let's hit, up here. Oh, and I'm seeing here that I have definitely colored in this portion on the wrong layer, too, so that's something I gotta fix now. Let's do that. Grab this color here and hit that on white. Let me... if I may be so bold. And I may. It has been known to happen, don't get me wrong. Me being bold, it's more likely than you might think. Yeah, I just colored in the wrong layer, was all. So we get rid of that. That can stay, because that's creating a shadow there, so that's fine. Give me the rest of that skirt, select that all, give me a little bit of this. There we go. Okay. So now, on that black layer, as we were, or wait, I think I just put that on the same layer. No, I didn't. Okay. On the black layer here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of that brighter end here and just give that some shine on here. Not where that shadow is being cast from the top portion. We still need a little bit of definition there. But I want to just kind of create a story here with the light, like what it's doing here. We just have like, let me read you a bedtime story about light play. Just a little bit. Nothing crazy, it's just creating a little something. You ever sit down and go, man, I'm hankering for a little something? Have yourself a little something. You've earned it. There we are. And that's spilling on over, so I'm gonna clean that up. But yeah, there's that. I can also... What I can also do, let me see what layer there's a little bit of spillage off one end or the other. Looks like that's it. I'm gonna dial that in a little bit. Just pull that darker color in. Give that more of an edge here. It looks like that was breaking apart a little bit. Here we are. Another thing, this flap has no dimension yet. However, there's a thing we can do, you see. Let me... Actually, real quick, let me hit this. Okay. What I want to do with this is we're going to take us a little bit of darker shade here, of just like, still in that blue-gray, but just give this an edge. Just like so. Preferably with it actually, you know, snap to, there we go. Go a little deeper till we feel a real amount of color here. God, that's really spilling out into there. I've been a little distracted today, what can I say? Are we working on the wrong layer? That'll do it. There we go. Okay. So actually, that does not need to go that ham. Pull that back. There we go. And again, stick to the thing. Stick to the program. Just like that. There we go. Or just create that outer edge. Create that little bit of definition that says, hey, this is a slightly thicker portion of it that is the bottom of a physical object and not just a slice of paper. And that little spillage over there, I need to clean that up, because I messed that up. It can happen to you. Huh. Let me refer to editing layer only. Let me actually highlight that real quick and fix that before that spillover gets lost in everything. The little bit here is okay because we're creating a little bit of shade with the shirt, so that actually gives me the idea to just keep it like that. I don't mind doing so. Get rid of that. There we go. And then this layer here, let's get rid of the extra junk that we don't need. Just like, no, not quite like that. Give me this here. There we go. And just create a little bit of the correct thing here. There we go. Right. There we go. Okay. There's that. So, of course, again, we take the sort of shade being created by this buckle here, we'll keep that on the white layer there, give that, like, I don't know, just this portion here as well. This is kind of coming up there. I don't think I colored that in sufficiently, but we'll hit it in a sec. But create that little bit of keeping this on opacity lock. Just a little bit of that. Just a little bit to create, like, that believable amount of light play. Let that come down here. I'm just creating that little flap of light, that little shadow. Maybe take a portion of that off, just as it comes up here a little more naturally. That is to say, if we're using the correct color, that will help too. Right here, yeah. Yes. So there's that comes up there. Okay. Yeah, that'll do. And we'll create a little bit more of that shadow here, just with this flap here coming down. Yeah. I think that will do. No, yeah, again, that is actually not working with the shadows we're casting, so that just genuinely doesn't need to be there. Okay. So yeah. Look already how this is coming together. How hard did I create a shadow there? I'm looking like it doesn't even look like I cast a shadow on this end of it, but I did over there. Interesting choice I made. Yeah, I want to make sure that has a shadow though, so let's just keep it so that's too dark. It'll never work. There we go. Yeah, that's fine like that. We can also fill in those portions there. I can do that just on that skin layer, but I'll follow my own rules here. Let's turn off the lock on this and fill those in. There we go. Yeah. And yeah, we'll just make sure this is casting a shadow as well. Once I, again, take a moment to clean up the areas that I kind of messed up here. Just check that. Hold on a minute. Select that. All layers? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Grab this, get rid of some of the shadows I created that I did not mean to, and we'll do the shading of that in a different way, consciously, in a way that we want to. So, there we go. That's popping again. So there's gonna be like a little bit of shading here on these belts too. For example, this is kind of being pushed out a little bit. You kind of see it on the side view here. The way this is kind of creating a, like, you know, it's pushing the belt out because of where the bottom of the top kind of pooches out there from being tucked into the skirt. We'll take that little bit here, get rid of that. Yeah, see how that kind of happens? So this is kind of popping out. So what we'll do is we'll take another bit we already learned with the pink side of things, pop over there, take that dark color. That's gonna be a little bit smoother. What in God's name did I do? There we go. Okay, so we'll take this and we'll go give me this. Just like that. Just there. Creates a little bit of that. We'll hit it down here. Kind of like where that belt kind of pulls in there on that. And we'll add some highlight, just a little bit of brightness right up here. A little bit more. Just like that. And yeah. There's going to be a little bit of difference here, just like with the way that this kind of naturally waves as a loose article of clothing. There's going to be a little more brightness in one end than the other, and it creates that kind of rippling effect that just not putting that little touch in wouldn't. So that looks pretty good. Like that. And we got these highlights in here. For this belt as well, do it with all the belts really. Hit that highlight, let that kind of curve in here. Let it kind of swoosh with this. And coming in up this side and up this one, just really facing the upper right light source here. That's all kind of coming together. That's going to be mostly shadow down there, but we can add a little more. And we'll do this one too, just right up here on the side. Still with the shadow created by the shirt. We have some here. It's coming up on this portion here of the belt. We can even half the size of that belt, just well, half the size of the brush, I mean, excuse me. We'll just cover that in a little more of this, just give it that little bit of glow to just kind of reflect that light. And a little bit down here too, because why the hell not? Alright. Now we will take that deeper color, which, honestly, probably made even a little too deep if you ask me. Let me just make it more like that. Yeah, that looks good. We'll take that, color that in. Yeah. I will use this as well for the belts. And another thing I can do with this is if we fill that portion in there with like, just like this area here is going to be kind of that darker version. Let's go ahead and take our darkest shadow here. Fill in that area that's going to be totally kind of blocked off from any direct light. And just hit that with a little of this. A little larger right there. There we go. That's the inside of the belt. It's basically creating a shadow in itself and just doing what it do. A little bit of light can kind of pop into here, but that's mostly going to just be like very shadowy. So we'll hit this as well, just give it a little bit of that treatment. You'll see maybe right on the edge there, we'll let some of that light hit it, just to kind of show that, like, yeah, no, there's light coming from here, it's just not really playing off that right now. I'll take this bright thing and let that kind of hit off the top of the belt here, creating sort of a line where the thickness of the belt happens. And we can also do that on this end here to add a little bit of dimension as well. Just these little touches, these little pops of light that say, hey, this, again, this is material. This is an object being worked with. It doesn't even need to go all the way down the lines, just in little places that it will add a pop. It looks kind of nice. And the same can be done with the shading. Let's take that darkest color there. As we do with some of the thinner strands of hair, we just create a little bit of, you know, again, just with the basic pen, just create a dark line here that kind of gives a level of definition to what you're working with. And just give it a little bit of that, creating a noticeable thing that kind of grows at some of the portion of where it kind of pops in. You can also do this with a blending brush. It could look pretty darn good too. So then down here again, you know, just like that. Could even... looks like that isn't even colored in all the way also. Let me fix that. Grab this. There we go. So yeah, we'll take some of that dark color again, hit that very edge of there, just like a little bit more definition. Let me get back on the pink layer here. Just create that little bit of fun. And there we go. Looking fairly darn nice. I'm gonna do a little bit more here. Which, again, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna liquefy tool that real quick. Didn't quite meet the line when I filled that somehow, so we're gonna grab it real quick and pull it in. Just a little. Hold on. Let me see if I can show this off here. Just like that. Drag it into the line a little. These are the things that save my ass on a daily basis. There we go. Nice. So there's that. We got a little bit... I want to add that sort of shadow we were talking about from this overpass here of the belts. Because that's going to be creating its own little shadow there. Over its friend. This area here will also sort of be excluded from the light. We're going to create some little bit of thickness down here. Again, just barely so. Like, hardly even noticeable. Just like so. If anything, I don't even know if we need that level of definition there for that. It can just kind of work on its own, but as long as we're getting fancy with it, what the hell. And yeah, there we go. Let's shade this here. It's gonna be more of a fade here, so let's just take that. Actually, I want that to be more exact, so yeah, refer to all layers, just give me that. Give me, like, that kind of darker color as well, and just create that curvature. Nice little, everything swoops in. There's a little bit going on there. Need to remind myself I have liquefy now. I upgraded to 4.0 recently. I didn't know that wasn't in like the other one. That's great. No, yeah, it's very useful. Sometimes vibes are more important than realism in shading. It's real. If I wanted realism, I would take photos. I'm drawing anime here. So we have that, and we have the shading on the black and the pink up there, and that's looking pretty good. I can also do now a little bit of that darkness on these lower belts where they're kind of spilling over here from the shirt. If I could take that layer just alone and give it a little bit of dark. A little bit of dark. Pretty please. Ah, wrong layer. Crazy. There we go. That song was sounding a little Celeste-y. Okay, so here we're gonna just do that little bit of dark here. Really, again, more than anything, I'm creating too small and too harsh of an area. It can just kind of swoop. It can be so very subtle. If we're doing it right, just create a little portion of space and just let it kind of speak for itself. Add that brightness. Give me that. Just let it kind of shine. Okay. There's that. Light's hitting that a little bit harder. It's coming in over there too, but mainly just following those lines. Ain't she cute? Boop boopy doop. Let's take these little sock stockings. I can go ahead into here and take like a little bit darker, just kind of leave that in. I don't want to do a ton of shading on this, but I just want to give it a little bit of consideration. Honestly, I could probably do this the same on both ends, so I will. Just give it the edges, let it also kind of darken a little bit on its way down. Just give it something to kind of like go in there with. The white portion of these shoes, I guess I can get to that once I'm done shading the pink area here, but again, you know the rules. Dark pink, light pink, and go ham. We'll take the dark one there, throw that in these little corners over here. If it'll work with me. Then again, it might not. There we go. Use the correct layer. Works a lot better than if you don't. That area here, if we can take this to hit kind of the bottom of that sole, just hits that with a little bit more. We can use this to, like, if I wanna, and I really do, let these little indentations on the sole kind of have a little bit of definition to them. We'll make it a little bit less dark, but enough to create a sort of impression here. And we'll just pop in there. Assuming we can find the right size here. There we go. Very good. Enough to create a little bit of fun. Those have a bit of an indent there. So actually, if we take that darker portion here, we just give that a little bit of a bow. I can do that actually with the blending brush, which can be fun here. I'm gonna actually go ahead and like just select those areas, just like that. There you go. And we'll just pop in there with it. Just hit the upper edges with a little bit of the blend brush and the darker color. If you finish selecting the area you need, that helps too. And we'll just pop that in there. Give that a little bit of a light curvature here, where it's just kind of playing off it and has a more naturalistic sort of feel. And yeah, just get rid of that. Maybe a little bit more kind of shining off on this end and creating that shadow, and maybe the light is hitting more on that side than the other, so we'll just hit that over here. Like, it's not a ton, but there's like a little bit more from that end. Anything you can do to not make things perfectly symmetrical or the same size, again, adds so much. We'll hit this, which again, on this area here, I think we need to pull this down a little. Yes, we do. Okay, perfect. Get down there. We love to see it. There we are. Alright, and then we can just add some highlights in there, which means we can take this. We can take that little glowy portion and just kind of hit that upper edge of this. Maybe even the side of it too, with a little bit of love. I think the best way to handle it for this will be hitting here. Give me just like top portion, that little cloud of just like kind of brightness around that soft rubber edge. We'll give a little bit of fun on these little areas here too, just a little bit of light shining on them, giving it a little bit of character. Fill in the fatter portions of that with the light. You know, even then, I wanna pull that down a little bit. I think that might even be too much. So we'll take that color again, make that more just a little more subdued. The edge is fine. I think it looked better before. You can always undo. That and layers, I am so thankful for digital art. Like, what would I do without it? Okay, so now we'll hit this end here too. I'm gonna hit that highlight color, if I can grab that again, because I don't know why I ever set the darn thing down. Grab me this layer again, and we'll just give that some love too. Just wham. Wham. This is misinterpreting the whole entire point of wham. Well. There we go. Alright. And so there we have it. We have that. We can also just, again, take more of this, hit it with like a wider sort of black here. Just little brightness. Not in the holes, though. Not in the holes. Just the selected area that we wanted. Let me do that now, like... I think that's what I initially wanted to do, and I was just kind of overdoing the other step. Like, the highlight on top is nice, but I also just want to make some areas of this a little bit brighter and like a wider swath here, like that. So that, yeah, that looks really good. I will take the belt here on the shoes. This little area here, you're gonna give you a little bit of sunlight, a little bit of that brightness. Hitting you there, probably hitting a little bit further on the bottom edge. And I'll take a little bit of the base color here and just also sort of give that its own defining little swashes over here of just letting the light kind of do what it does. Have kind of that natural belt consistency of like almost like the hair having a sort of taut and like almost kind of pulled in nature about it, if that makes any sense. And just pop that in there. And there we go. Create those sort of areas of definition there. Again, this is another good place to create kind of that bottom of the belt definition here, like the shoe. If I take this color here, I think I like this one here. If we get in there and we just say, let's create some... where that swooshes up there, like you see that corner of the belt. So let's get in there and just whomp, just like that. Just like so. And then that is its own happy little amount of three-dimensional consideration. Just like so. And yeah, just up from that side there too. Really, that's the other thing too, it doesn't need to follow the whole line. If anything, that helps more showing that sort of pooch out there. I think I might keep it like that. Let's take this color again, just get rid of this portion, and just let it kind of naturally fade in there, but showing that kind of shaded definition of where those corners are popping up. You see, again, just how much that little does. It's a weird little thing. It's all about the subtleties just doing an immense amount of the work. The inside of the white of the shoes, again with this, we haven't shaded any of the white for the most part other than just like this little area here, which to be honest I kind of want to redo. And we'll pop this in here, just right around that, preferably again on the correct layer. Hit that, a little darker, there you go. Got some shoes. We're going to hit the white on that with some glow. I'm gonna pop it into this blue area here, go back to our glow layer that we had, wherever the hell I put that thing, because I know it's in here somewhere. That's our... I guess I might have thrown that down and flattened it once we were doing the... changing the... well, not the opacity, but the... you know what I mean. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna actually go ahead and just create a little bit of glow here. Just kind of over the whole thing. Just the color layers, though, on top of all that. Let's take... Glow. Add glow. And we'll just hit this. Yeah. I want this to be really more in reference to the white portion here, but I want it all to kind of throw together, so let's just do this selectively, I guess. I will take this portion here, we'll just start with the sleeve. Take that there, I need to shade underneath that sleeve. I know. Do that. Over here, nice. I was all the way on 1.0, oh my goodness. No, yeah, definitely enjoy the many benefits. Use all the like textures and the assets and stuff. It's really fun. So, okay, so we got this, like, here's another fun rule, too. We're gonna add shading where the seam is here. You want to make this look 3D as fuck. Not only have I drawn the lines so that they, like, curve in where the seam of that shirt is, you can also, before we highlight this, let me go into the white layer itself and give that just a little bit of shade and show you what a difference that makes. This just, if we take, like, I love doing a lot of the shading with, like, these mixing brushes, but just like that, just a little bit. And I'll even kind of cull that down a bit too, just enough to create kind of that effect where there's just like a little bit of difference going on and creating a little bit of shadow. Oh my god, like, oh, look at it. We have that. I'm not doing that quite right. Hold on a minute, I see what I've done. Throw that down on the white. And we'll just reduce that with the original color by a sort of curvature of the sleeve, just in that rounded kind of way. Preferably again with a mixing brush so we don't make it too sharp. And yeah. Tiny thing, big difference. Better ingredients, don't eat fast food. We'll hit that just around there. You can also actually do this with like a spray can too, depending on how you want to hit it. But we just kind of create that little seam there. We'll probably do so around the neck at a point here too. But there's that. Anyway, on to the glowing though. We're going to just hit a little bit of up here. The reason I did that was because I don't want that to interfere with the shadow we're creating around that area, because the shine won't necessarily hit on there. So it just comes like around these edges. It's going to hit around here, the outside of here. I'm gonna pull this down too by changing the opacity of the glow layer, but for now I want to keep it really loud just so we can keep an eye on what we're doing and get an idea. We hit this here, we hit that over yonder, that's coming in at a good place. We create a little bit of play on this portion as well, just like so. That'll do. And again, you never want to go too overboard with it, but enough to kind of make your point. So that the image will be like, okay, you made your point, Mom. I want to select just that white portion there again. Right around there. And we'll just select all that area there. Let's grab that glow layer with that restriction and give it a little bit of fun here. If anything, I want a larger brush and a lighter tap here. Just create light naturally, like so. Look at how that also kind of accentuates that little shadow there too, for the belt. It just kind of does something. That's a bit too much, but you get the idea. So there's that. I can also give the rest of this, like, if I just pull it down a bit. Hold on. Wonder what's going on with that. Oh, it's not selected. Ah, gotta keep an eye on that. Okay, we got our little corners here. We hit the front of the shirt, kind of. Maybe give that a little bit of a inconsistent ripple to the looseness of the shirt. It comes up here, it's on the sleeve, it's on the shoulders. It's really coming through. Just enough to kind of highlight these portions. And that looks good. Let's hit the top of these as well. Give me a blending brush for that. You know what? Screw it. Give me just like a spray can for that. Just... Again, these are kind of being shaded by the sleeves that they're on in the first place, but yeah, I want to let some light hit them. Let it have a little fun with itself, why don't we? We'll give it that little bit of separate from there. There we go. Okay, I will grab this brush here again, the mixing brush, take that color and just kind of, if I can actually drag that glow layer. That actually does not work for that. Oh right, oh no, I gotta go to the thing, that's right. So what I can do is just kind of give that some life, just a little. Drag that down a bit. Down here as well, so it's not so much of just like a line here. It's going to have that little bit of slightly more blue shaded definition over yonder. Hi, Breezy, how goes the art? Zcar, it's going great. How the hell are you? How are things? I hope you're well. The art goes good. We're just doing some coloring. Feeling good. Getting things done. Crossing our fingers. Really hoping we will hear about our background check and our application soon for the house stuff. Here's hoping. But yeah. That's about the long and short of it. How the hell are you? I hope you are doing well. What the hell? What am I doing here? I'm good, thank you. Glad to hear it. Is it a VTuber model? No, I'm just, I'm working on a character reference for one of my OCs. So, just kind of making a defining sort of, this is how I draw Hai-Chu. She's the first one. I think I'm gonna do Val next, and then, it's been a long time, actually, since I have drawn, oh god, what's the other one? I have another OC. That's how long it's been. Dub. I gotta draw Dub. Kind of get her reference down as well, and then I mean, really, my best reference for me is just kind of my model, so there's that. But really, I drew my model in a way that isn't entirely like how I do my particular style, which is more like this, so I'll probably do a reference for me too. Just as a official, like, here you go. But yeah, it's coming along pretty well though. We're doing the glow, right. I want to hit this portion of the shoes. With that glow here, just give it a little bit of a bump. Just like that. So... okay, I'm just hitting the sides here. A little bit of fun. Yeah, I think that'll do. Just like so. Okay. Alright, it'll come in this side here. Not quite like that though. It'll be more like that. I'm just coming in the side, kind of creating a little area for that part of the ankle. A little more of the foot, just... you know, subtlety is for wimps. But yeah, I think that's mostly there. There's something I don't like about these shoes, and I can't figure it out. But the glow here, it wouldn't really be coming in super hard from that area. Maybe the front here? Give a little bit of that. I don't even think that's what I'm missing. This will be an eyeballing it and figuring it out. I want to take that off still. Okay. And that'll create a little bit of love there. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, that'll do. From here, I'm just gonna create some very natural light glow on the rest of this. Just a little kind of swab, little tap, just little dimension there. Okay. And there we are. I think I'm almost done with, like, the front profile, and I can do the side on my own time, but I think I need to add some proper highlights to the hair. But other than that, I think this is a pretty good reference. I think this will work really well. You save that, grab me some shaded color here. Maybe some, like, down here. Yeah, whatever I was using there actually is perfect. Grab that. And we'll hit the inside of the sleeve on the, preferably the correct layer. Okay, there we are. Yeah. Okay. So, for doing some of the highlights on the hair, aside from just the light coloring that we've done, I want to grab, like, I'll probably still use that glow layer. That works really well for this. I'm gonna take, like, just a little swash of this. Just, like, around those corners. Up in that little bright area there. Around this corner. A little subtler, though, on it. These little areas. And, you know what? I should make this do that. Yes. There we go. So with that, we give this a little bit more over here, hit the edge of this. It's going to be coming up the top there really nice. I can give a little bit of highlight with just a regular pen right up here. Just those little tiny touches that do so very much. Though I think I will do that with a blending brush. A small blending brush, but use that pretty hard. Nice smooth little transition of light there to just create that play of light. Okay. On this side, the light's coming from here. Right around this area as well. We're gonna throw that up this way. And just create a little bit more of that. I think we can actually go as far as to just kind of drift this over here. Yeah. Not quite as hard, but just like that. There we go. And yeah, even over here, I don't want to really add glow to that, but I can add more of the just letting the natural pink of the hair sort of come through there. Grab that color there and just let that kind of breathe up here. It's on the glow layer still, I gotta grab that. There we go. Any little way to add a tiny bit of definition somewhere. I guess we'll pop back in there and give it a little bit of love. Just a little bit. But, yeah. And so yeah, that can hit the little, like, corners where this is popping up here, where the hair is kind of facing upward. These little tiny touches that make so much of a difference. Uh-huh. Yeah. She's looking good. The only little things I would change here, I think, I want to add some glow right there in the eyes. If I can hit that real quick, let me have that portion here. Just the irises. Not that restricted, just like, yeah, just like that. Okay. Make that brush a little smaller. Yeah. There we go. I'm gonna take this little shading of the skin here and make that a more defined area down here. Just for that little area here where the lip kind of curves in. Beyond that, we're basically there. I know that she has white plugs. I'm gonna throw those in there on the ears. That's on layer white. Can unlock that. Pop those suckers in there real nice and easy. I do believe we have a good reference for her on the front there. I will do the side on my own time, but I hope this has been a good I hope this has been a good example, and I hope that everyone has learned a little bit of something. It's a million degrees in here, and I would love to turn on my AC now, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. But let me go ahead and add a little bit more. Nah, it's fine. I don't want to over touch it up. I think I like the way this is. Just little tiny deets here and there. She a winner. I love it. Okay, so there we are. There's our girl. Let's save that. I will close this, and we'll do a little bit of an outro here. Excuse me a moment. Thank you, Raven. It's motivated me to get on my own commissions too. Hell yeah, I'm always happy to do that. Let me save this here. I'll probably continue it on my own here after the fact, but let me pop this over. Everybody. There we are. Everybody, thank you for coming on down to Easy Breezy TV once again. I'm glad that my little trick worked of covering the camera and creating an automatic animation, so I'm not glitching everywhere. It worked really well. So you can see I'm a little more animated now. But yeah, that was really fun. Really, I did this stream like this because I too needed to finish this project I'm working on. So I was like, let's get on it, give myself a reason to not only stream, but do some work on my own stuff. But yes, everyone, I hope you have a good night. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Have a great one. I'll see you next time. I think that tomorrow I might play some more House Flipper because it might be funny. So we'll probably do that at the usual time. But take care, everyone. Bye.